We're back. Carolyn is talking Traitors. We're going to get into it. And Jax Taylor is on the latest episode of Bravo Hot Mic, admitting to his addiction issues for the first time publicly. So we are going to roast it, recap it, grab a beverage, hopefully wearing something very comfy. Smash that like if you haven't already, and let's get started.
If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want, 'cause your heart's made of gold. But don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Stand-up comedian and pop culture vulture Joleen Lunzer here for another episode of No Offense, All Offense, where we look at pop culture news, trending topics, reality shows, reality stars, things we love to hate, things we hate to love. We roast it, we recap it, we give it a very opinionated view, me and producer in training, Prince here. Now, remember, I am very opinionated, but that doesn't mean you have to have the same opinion. You are welcome to sound off in the live chat or the comment section if you're watching on the replay crew. Hey, replay crew. And we can just respectfully disagree like Tamra Judge.
That's my opinion!
Remember, everything I say is true except for the parts that are false. Everything is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. So don't sue me.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. All right. But you're going to have a good time. So smash that like if you haven't already. It's a free way to support the channel. Subscribe. You guys, after our live this morning, I didn't lose any subscribers, which is like a first recently in 2025. I actually gained a couple. So thank you to those of you who subscribed. I appreciate you guys very much. Okay, we have a lot to talk about regarding Jax Taylor, regarding Carolyn. Earlier this morning, I did an early morning No Offense, All Offense, and we got into the Carolyn Uyghur from the Traitors season 3 interview that just posted this morning on the Vile Files with Nick Vile, even though he had to take off 10 minutes into their interview because he had to go to LAX, and then she was late for their interview because she was coming from LAX. So this is Carolyn's interview that she did right before the reunion. And we know the reunion for the Traitors season 3 just filmed in Los Angeles, and it brought all of the cast together, and we got some cast shots like this one here with Chanel Ayan, Wes, we have Dylan Efron, we have Sierra from Summer House, we have Boston Rob, Chriselle. So we see a lot of them hanging out here. Here's another photo of the gang hanging out. I cannot wait for the finale this week. I just wish it wasn't the finale. I wish we had like a couple more weeks of Traitors, and then the reunion. It's gonna be crazy. Okay, so thank you guys so much for joining me. Hello to everyone. Shine says breaking news: water is wet. Water is wet. Christy and the plants, right? 2 lives in 1 day. Thank you guys so very much. So good to see all of you. Sound off in the live chat. I want to hear all of your thoughts, hopes, dreams, and opinions regarding what we're talking about today. What we're going to mainly focus on the Carolyn Uyghur interview and then Jax Taylor's interview. We're going to listen to it, roast it, recap it, react to it as we do. So let's get right back into. If you want to watch this whole episode, this entire episode, it is on the Vile Files YouTube channel. And it's today's episode. It's like 2 hours and 44 minutes. And it's got Taylor and Green. So Taylor from Summer House, from Southern Charm, has Traitors. They talk Oscars. If you want to go support the entire podcast episode. So I'm going to rewind just a little bit for those of you who weren't there this morning. And I'm going to be stopping it and providing commentary on moved to the Mac. Awesome. My headset moved to the Mac. And so we're going to be stopping. We're going to be commentating. I want you guys to sound off on what you think regarding this interview with Carolyn, which we know Carolyn interviews are there's always something to talk about. She always gives us something to talk about. Okay. So we'll start with this. And when we're done with this, we'll move on to the Jax Taylor interview on the Bravo Hot Mic. So give me a thumbs up in the chat as soon as you guys hear the audio for this. Smash that like if you haven't already, and let's do it.
Yeah, and you know what?
You don't have to whisper. You just say it with your chest.
Here, I'm going to be honest with you, Nick, because it is hard because she's getting so much hate right now that it has like.
Okay, I'm going to rewind. I'm going to remind you and rewind just a bit because they right out the gate start talking about Danielle's gameplay, which has been very heavily criticized, scrutinized, and she's been social media has really come for Danielle Reyes, a Big Brother legend, current season of Traitors, Traitor, and Carolyn seems to not really enjoy Danielle Reyes very much. So let's take a listen. I'm going to speed it up just a little.
I completely just took that as like somebody who's like playing their, like she's trying to do like, well, you know, maybe what Phaedra did, or like, because when they picked me as a traitor, I said, I'm not an actress. I'm not going to be like murder or talking like that. I'm just going to be like myself.
I'm sure they were like, we don't need you to be your.
No,
perfect
I know,
lady.
right? Like, but I did. I was like, so I felt like, okay, there's people that are going to like, I expected, because that's what always bothered me about reality TV. Good is you go on reality TV and people aren't real. And I know, does that sound stupid? It's true. And so I didn't, with Survivor, it's like people are just so raw and like, you really can't hide much. You're all out there. I knew it would be a bunch of people who just want screen time and like, what do I need? I wasn't thinking like that. Like, what do I go out there and say to make sure that I'm getting the airtime? A lot of people think like that.
What did you think of Danielle swearing on kids and grandkids and all these people? And
yeah, and you know what?
You don't have to whisper. You just say it with your chest.
Like, here, I'm going to be honest with you, Nick, because it is hard because she's getting so much hate right now that it has like, because I've had a lot of poems about her and I was like pissed. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, it's a game, Carolyn, but I don't believe that. That's just what I'm told. The swearing on your grandkids thing. So again, I have like a hard time like
Carolyn's like, it's just a game. They're telling her it's just a game, but she's like, she doesn't believe that shit.
Fucking crap because she's already getting so much hate. So it sucks. But here's my opinion outside of like the shit talking is that when I watch the Traitors, and I know we're only on season 3, I just didn't expect anyone to go to that level. Oh, well, here's the deal. We're playing a game. And I never even knew what the prize pot was at. I'm not rich, but like, girl, you were going, like, I'm not going to do anything like, it was just not like, and I truly thought that this was a game, like to have fun. And for me, good. People watch like Big Brother in these shows, and it's like almost like go watch football or something. I don't watch it for like the strategy or, oh, you did it. I don't. Like have some strategy, but I don't give a shit about like this move or this move. I don't. I want to be entertained, and I don't get entertained by that. And so it was hard for me. I didn't think like we needed to go to that level with the people that we were playing with. And I'm not saying the people we were playing with aren't intelligent, but what I'm saying is like, you think Dolores thinks that people do that? No. Or Lord Ivar, they don't. And Chrishell. So seeing Chrishell, and that's when I really knew. I was like, she had tears in her eyes, tears. And I'm like, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I was doing that. Good. And like, well, that's the game. That's Big Brother. That's other shit. Not the Traitors is.
Yeah, I would definitely not. Even if like I was a faithful and someone asked me to swear on anyone, anything of value, if I was a faithful, I'd be like, no, it's stupid. It's like, no, like I would be offended by that position.
But the argument is like that's the gamers versus non-gamers. And that's like, you do what you got to do to win. That's how those Big Brother fans are.
I mean, that's a little nuts. Yeah. I don't care that much.
Okay. First of all, do not drag us Big Brother fans. Can we be a little crazy and into this? I mean, we watch entire summers of social strategic gameplay within Big Brother of them living together in a house, not only finding out what happens when people stop being polite but start getting real, but also having to not be real and kind of fake the funk and tell lies in order to get ahead in the game of Big Brother. But we're getting a lot of Big Brother fan slander. Okay. And I think that it's interesting that everyone's like, that's Big Brother. Or, Carolyn's like, girl, that's not the Traitors. That's Big Brother. I'm not doing that. Girl, I'm not doing that. And that's fine. That might not work for you. But understand, you're coming from the gamer world. Let's not pretend Survivor is like, la, la, I'm in the clouds. It's not, we're all friends. It's not like that. Survivor's gamers too. Like, I understand what Carolyn's saying and that she wouldn't do that because I also wouldn't play the game that way. But I think to say that it shouldn't happen it's a little much.
Like if I think I've become a fan of the show. I've watched it. Like they've asked me to do the show in the past. I have been able to make it work. I hope someday I'll have a chance to do it in the future. But like I wouldn't care that much to swear on my kids' life.
I know exactly. Like again,
like, I would care. I would try. I would have fun. I'd get into it. But like the moment someone's like, swear on your kids, I'm like, fuck.
But if you think about it, she's not, because she's lying. So you're saying, or she's saying, I swear on my kids, but she's not telling the truth in that moment. She doesn't. She's lying. She's not really. It basically null and voids what she's saying because she's lying and not telling the truth. So she's not really swearing on her kids because she's like, I'm willing to say and do anything. I'm willing to lie, which is what Danielle told us going into this game. Whether you like it or not, she warned us. She was like, oh yeah, I'm getting rid of all your faves. I'm coming for their necks. I'm going to murder everybody. and I'm going to lie and do anything I can to get to the end. If she's chosen to be a traitor, she was being a traitor.
Fuck off.
It's not that serious.
It's not that. And so for me, I was coming off of a hard year. And you know what? I was excited when I got that call because I'm not some 2-time winner. I'm not some freaking Survivor champion Hall of Fame. So I was freaking excited. I just wanted to go wild, bust out. And so it did. It sucked. I thought that it was a show for like fun. I mean, we're in a freaking castle. We got Lala. We got like, come on. So but it was a great time.
You hated it.
No, no.
This is truly my
Carolyn?
like go-to number one beauty.
I love it. It's hilarious. It's so original. I love it.
You had
Great.
fun. You had fun.
I had fun, but I
One more time.
like, come on. So, but it was a great time.
You hated it.
No, no. I'm
You had
great.
fun.
I had fun, but I could have had more fun if it wasn't so serious. And again, and I don't want to say this. I don't want to be like the gamers are ruining the show. I don't think that they're ruining the show, but it doesn't need to be taken to that level of like, it takes the fun out of it because at the end of the day, you want to watch people having fun on a TV show, not like taking like personal attacks or like swearing on their kid. That becomes icky in my opinion.
Who's personal attacking? Who's personal attacking? I don't know.
And which is probably why they edited it out.
Did you have a harder time watching it or doing it?
Oh, girl, doing it, watching it. Like I don't, and I really don't get embarrassed easily. I could literally like shit on this couch right now.
I'd rather you not.
Which did
It was
happen
like
out
it was
there.
expensive.
But like with something else. But anyway, like I did it.
You should-
I think if she would have put herself into a little more of a character, you know, I get her need to be as genuine as possible and that is who she is at her core. I understand that. I totally get that because there's a lot of me that is like that. Even though I know it might not work in a situation, I'm like, this is kind of who I am. But I think it would have benefited her, like Anna says, maybe she should have had a little more fun and been like, dude, it's a game. You know, I just think the contentious relationship between her and Danielle out the gate as traitors wasn't fun for Danielle and it wasn't fun for Carolyn. And it was so frustrating as a fan to watch these two Survivor Big Brother queens not be able to come together, work together, listen to each other, be able to communicate with each other. For me, it was such a disappointment. And I think that energy carried throughout the season for them, and they could obviously feel it, and we, the fans, could feel it. But Carolyn takes it to it's surprising since she has played Survivor that it goes to such a personal, she takes it so personal, but then I do kind of understand that in that who you are, you know, it's some people really can't hide at all who they are. And that's kind of the player Carolyn is, and the player people got to know on Survivor. She is who she is, and she's going to bring that into the game. However, Carolyn is very smart, and she's cognizant of the fact that who she is someone who's underestimated, and she can use that to her advantage. So anyone that comes into these shows, I guess, and says they're 100% real and not fake or performative, you're on a reality show. You're still delivering lines producers give you. You're still, you realize there's cameras there. I feel like you can't possibly be 100% true to who you are in the entertainment business. You can, you know, try your best to be as true as you can be, but ultimately everybody plays a little bit into it, whether they play it a lot into it or just a little. It just depends. Everybody's playing the game, I guess I should
Put
say.
your pants out there?
No, I got my period on the breakfast chair, the first, and I know, is that inappropriate?
Yeah,
No.
not for us.
And you know, so you try going to breakfast. You're a woman, you understand.
Yeah.
I go down to breakfast. This is my first breakfast. I'm wearing a yellow skirt and I'm excited. I'm feeling cute. They already had to tape my nipples to the thing and my bra was coming off. So I was already a little bit stressed, but it's my first breakfast where I have to like, hi.
This is what I love about Carolyn is how she is so unabashedly like herself and honest in these situations. Like, I got my period on the breakfast chair. I did. And I love this because that's what happens every day. Women are getting their periods. I mean, we don't hopefully get them every day. You know, we have our monthlies or whatever. But but you still have to exist as like a traitor and a human and a mom and a person and someone that goes to work, yet you're literally bleeding out. Okay. So I love that she's like, and I got my period. Yeah, I was wearing a yellow outfit, my prince, and I got my period. I love the honesty, and you should never be
I'm
ashamed
Enough for us.
to talk about
And
your period.
you know how? So you try going to breakfast. You're a woman. You understand. I go down to breakfast. This is my first breakfast. I'm wearing a yellow skirt and I'm excited. I'm feeling cute. They already had to tape my nipples to the thing and my bra was coming off. So I was already a little bit stressed, but it's my first breakfast where I have to like, hi. I get up and there's like a murder scene and I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? And thankfully Dolores helped me. But like, yeah, I literally like, I am a murderer and I have blood all over me and I am, yeah.
You're like, wow, she's a traitor.
Yeah, like, oh my God, I died. So yeah, that's the type of shit that just happens to me. But even then I didn't get like
Blood on your hands.
Yeah, like
Sorry, I could go on.
It's nasty. But no, like I am grateful for the experience because
Nick Viall, I don't know, like honestly, I don't know if Nick Viall thinks he's doing here. He's like, oh, I could go on. I'm sure you could. Yeah, period jokes. Wow, women wrote them a long time ago. We've lived them. He's like, blood on my hands. Oh, I could go on. Please don't, Nick Viall. Please don't. Keep your lack of period knowledge in your pants, sir.
God, I died. So yeah, that's the type of shit that just happens to me. But even then I didn't get like
Blood on your hands.
Yeah, like
Sorry, I could go on.
It's nasty. But no, like I am grateful for the experience because it is such a huge freaking show and it's so incredible. And when you're out there, like it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's a cool show. So no like monster's gonna ruin that for me.
I could have so many questions, but I have to go.
But yeah, you gotta go. Like, girl.
I'm gonna leave.
Girl.
If you guys have more questions,
Great.
Ask Caroline. Thank you for making the time.
This was like, girl, I was like, I'm not coming from the air, but no.
Caroline, it's been so much fun. Thanks
Girl,
for
my
taking the
name's
time.
Carolyn.
Carolyn, that's what I said.
I didn't want to correct you, but like, because
I get bad with names.
I've told him so many times.
What am I saying, Carolyn?
You're still changing it.
I'm saying Caroline.
It's okay. We've got multiple shows where it's Carolina, Carolyn, Caroline, and he says them all interchangeably.
No one gets my last name right.
How do you say it?
Great question.
How is it?
It's Viall. People say Viall, Vale.
Oh my
Catch
God.
me in the new season.
So he's
of The
not
White
saying
Wood.
her name correctly. Like people say mine. Well, that doesn't negate the fact that you didn't get her. Her name is Carolyn.
Rhyme your show with girl. Like, say it.
Girl.
Great question.
How is it?
It's Viall. People say
I'm
Viall.
supposed to call you Viall, Nick Viall, Files, the Viall Files. I thought it was the Viall Files. Oh boy, just change your name at this point.
Vale.
Girl, that's because you literally rhyme your show with girl. Like,
Girl.
file.
I'm an idiot. What do you want me to say?
Thank you, Carolyn.
Like, I don't-
Like, I thought this was a
Carolyn.
crime pod. I'm like, when they asked if I wanted to do the Vial Files, I was like, I'm not doing some like investigation discovery shit.
Maybe that's our problem.
I thought
That's the problem.
Maybe we have a
It totally when Carolyn said that, because remember people were like, oh, the Vial Files, they do pop culture. I'm like, Vial? Well, first of all, who's Nick Vial? Second of all, why is it called the Vial Files? It does sound like it's a true crime, some kind of podcast. It does.
we have a marketing problem. With
you know
our
what I'm
show.
saying? The Vial Files. I thought this was some sort of a like.
Vial.
I started a
crime scene.
podcast 6 years ago. I Topher Grace gave me the idea of the name. I was like, cool, that rhymes. And then like I if I knew the show would be as big
Topher
and
Grace.
successful as it was, I would have thought of something different.
So no, you're doing it.
If I would have known that the show was going to be so awesome and so big and successful and huge, I would have thought of something different. But Topher Grace from That 70s Show and other movies you probably love, basically the only normal or maybe healthy person from That 70s Show gave me the name. So I took it. And Carolyn's like, girl, I was like, I'm not doing the Vial Files. Like, wow, girl, a crime podcast, girl.
You're doing a great job. I'm jealous. So that's the truth.
It's too late for a rebrand.
Carolyn, did I get it right?
Thanks for having me, Nick.
I love you. I'm so sorry I have to go.
No, it's all good. I'm really grateful to be here.
Well, can I just say you're my favorite on Traitors? I haven't seen a single episode of
Oh.
Survivor, but you make me
Wow.
want to watch it.
Well, say that to Jeff Probst. That's really
Bring her back.
All
because
stars.
not even that, but like that this show, like it truly this brings other people in who's never. And I've had so many people reach out to me and was like, I never saw Survivor, and now I'm watching. So it's true. It brings to because again, like people warned me, like, okay, like there's different fan communities, like the Bravo people, and I've been now exposed to like all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Every little community is different.
Would you say that the survivors are grouped into like the gamer tag of it all?
I feel like, okay, yes, the gamers, but I feel like Big Brother though is like its own, which is so
100%.
crazy. It's both CBS, it's both like the gamer category, but I feel like the Big Brother like fandom, that's a different. I don't even know what that's on.
Because I mean, the whole point of like Big Brother is like being manipulative and like trying to get people out, but you're all like living in a house together. I'm like, at least Survivor, it's like you're trying to survive and then vote people
At
out.
least I can get the hell away from the.
The Survivor is part of getting people out and lying. I don't know why Big Brother's getting the worst rep. We are always the redheaded stepchild of the fandoms, of the shows. But Survivor is cutthroat. Some of the most cool, cutthroat, badass, social strategic game moves I've ever seen have been on Survivor. Okay, Parvati, Sari, the Black Widow Alliance. I mean, Boston Rob through the years, Sandra. There have been so many really cool moments that have been cutthroat, lying, cheating, stealing on Survivor. I don't know. Maybe I didn't see Carolyn's season of Survivor. Was Carolyn's season of Survivor kind of mild? But Survivor from the jump was like the Richard Hatch broke it all open. Like that was an insane season. So I don't know why we're like looking at it with such rose-colored glasses, but I mean, maybe I'm seeing it wrong. Let me know in the comments what you guys think.
From these people, like I would never be able to do Big Brother, and it ain't even about the live feeds and all
Thank
that
you,
bullshit.
Alessandra.
It's about being trapped in a house.
Yep. My nightmare.
No, and even on Traitors, like I could at least like, because I would get like
what's his nuts? Russell Hantz. And then Russell Hantz's like nephew came back. Like we had Russell Hantz's brother Willie Hantz. He lasted like a second on BB14 and got kicked out for headbutting a Chef Joe. But Russell Hantz's season on Big Brother, his seasons, oh my God. That guy is like a freaking nightmare. People, can you imagine if someone like Russell Hantz was on the Traitors? Now that is someone who, if you drag them in real life, I'd be like, okay, because that's an evil dude right there. But yes, oh my God, Russell. Oh, Russell. The whole Hantz family, allegedly. Just a mess.
Usually I would just say like I like poop my pants or something truly and just go and just get a minute alone I need that. I cannot be around. I can't be on 24/7. I can't. And it's so much in a day that like it's hard. So on Big Brother, hell no. No. But the gaming level of like,
Yeah.
no,
Hey everyone, wanted to tell you about one of the best deals we have going on the internet right now.
Are crazy.
And especially your last episode. While everybody's trying to like figure out like who's getting murdered or like who they think traitors are, like what's going through your mind while you're sitting there like knowing that you are a traitor and hearing everybody's theories or guesses and like
wait, hold on. Were we talking about the last episode?
Yeah, like the last episode specifically, but like even just any breakfast in general. Like
that's the thing. It's so my whole thing always, this was my plan, because I'm like, we're supposedly faithful, so like let's just go with the evidence. Unfortunately, the evidence typically is just like someone sneezed in a certain direction or something just so stupid. And so but it's like you take hold of it. So that was my plan. That was what I was going to do. So one person, so like Robin, I remember had said something about Wells. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. It was early on. Like, who cares? And so, okay, make it stick. And that's why I felt like I had so much on Danielle when I finally was going for her that I was like, but I couldn't make it stick. And then I believe at the end, like people just knew she was a traitor, not all of them, but some. And so I get like,
okay, so that has been a problem within Carolyn's interviews, is her insinuating that people knew Danielle was a traitor, to the point where somehow, some way, I can't keep track of all the interviews Carolyn has done, but some of the bloggers were reporting that Danielle broke her NDA and told certain people in the house on Traitors that she was a traitor, which is categorically false. The producers of Traitors have come forward and said, no, Danielle never told anybody. That is not true. The show itself had to confirm that Danielle was not a cheater who told people. I think a better way to probably phrase this is obviously, maybe through Carolyn's gameplay, people were able to pick up, or I'm sorry, on Danielle's gameplay, people were able to pick up that she was a traitor more so than Carolyn. And so, especially the people that knew her, I guarantee you, if Brittany Haynes hasn't confirmed this yet, she knew Danielle was a traitor and she was using her as her traitor angel. The same way, Dylan might have been doing a little bit of that. So maybe comparing it to like breaking it down, people were using her as a traitor angel because it was so obvious in her gameplay that she was a traitor. Because I think people that know Danielle and to see such a 180 of all of a sudden she's this emotional player who's crying all the time and shaking like this in the corner, you're going to be like, huh? No, any Big Brother person, I find it almost impossible to believe that Brittany, who is a Big Brother legend herself, would not, or Derek would not know that Danielle was putting on a show, an act. They know her in real life. They know her in the game. They know her as a friend. They know her as a player. And they might be going, okay, so she might be, we might be just utilizing this. But Carolyn, the more she says this, the more people were running with it going, oh my God, Danielle is a cheater and she broke her NDA. And so the show had to come forward and be like, oh my gosh, this is not true. Okay, Revo says she has, Jolene, in her Patreon. Brittany said how she was acting. She knew. Because even when Danielle recruited Brittany in last episode, Brittany was like, oh my, what? That's crazy. Like she couldn't even feign surprise and shock. She was like, I didn't expect what? Danielle, is that you? What? Like she knew because she knows Danielle Reyes, and Danielle herself said she made a choice to go into the season and play emotional because she had never played that way before in all of her time on Big Brother. And people had called her cold. So she thought maybe this will work for her. She said, might not have been the best choice, but it was a choice she made and she's got to live with it. So I think the people that know her were like, what? Okay, this is sus.
Whatever. But early on, it's kind of, and then the theories, the cage theory and all this, like it's not fun playing like that. I would much rather like vote people out because, they sneezed that day or something. These theories and these, but I tried to play the game with like, let's just follow the evidence. And it's like, girl, I just wanted to have fun, truly.
How hard was it working on a team of traitors that couldn't get on the same page? And that was including Rob and Danielle.
Bob the drag queen.
It was like, I've watched the show. I've watched all the seasons. I've watched the UK, like all of them. And I'm like, yeah, I am a fan and I do own a cloak and I sleep in it. And I am like, that was a dream. I was excited.
I own a cloak too.
My whole thing going in was like, okay, I'm not going to go for them until they come for me, or they like, or until it becomes so obvious that one of them are a traitor, then like, yep, I'll throw them under the bus, like, or I'll vote along with it. But I'm not gonna like, that was never, but we start going for each other so quick. And again, I didn't see it. Like, I understand where Rob was coming from now, but out there, no, I was like, your ego. Yeah. And like, honestly, coming off of my like own like whole era of like, don't you tell me what to do. I'm an independent. Like I was bringing a whole ton of that in there.
Period.
And I've seen Boston Rob seasons and I'm like, I don't want to be your Phillip, because that was like, he had his little like person on the side. I was like, no, I don't want. And it was a lot of my own shit of like, I don't trust a man. I don't. And especially one who is like Boston Rob, good, you're too good. And I was intimidated. I was jealous of him. Good. So I'm like, you can talk perfect. You can, even that round table where he went, I didn't want him gone. I had written him a poem. I just didn't get a chance to read it to him in person yet. But I didn't want him to go. But it would like truly, certain things would trigger me, like the way people treated Tom, because I saw a lot of myself in Tom.
A vacation with Norwegian Cruise Line is so much more because there's more included. Like,
oh my goodness. These Norwegian cruise lines, now I'm for sure not going to go on.
Wi-Fi. Oh.
Okay.
And good. But I didn't want him to go, but it would like truly, certain things would trigger me, like the way people treated Tom, because I saw a lot of myself in Tom.
Okay.
And good. And I shouldn't, see, it's like the cool thing to do right now is to make fun of Tom. The cool thing to do.
It's not the coolest thing to do. It literally is who he is, what he's put out there, and people are just criticizing what he's putting out there. People are just basically not necessarily even criticizing, just commenting on what he has put out there for years now, Carolyn. I feel like Carolyn wants to speak on this, but she does not know the history. It's not cool. It's not like we all woke up one day and we're like, hey, it's cool to hate on Sandoval. Sandoval made himself into the person he is today. That's who he is. That's who this person is. It's his behavior. It's who he continues to be. Like, I know you want to rewrite history because you like this man, but please, dear Lord, there's not a whole group of people who just decided we gave this man the benefit of the doubt for so many years on his show. We bought into his little bromance. We supported his businesses. Like, come on. This wasn't the cool thing to do. This is literally when someone shows you really bad behavior and continues to show it, even when called out, even when he could make amends and be apologetic, and he chooses not to, and instead chooses to attack women and blame them and want to take them down rather than taking responsibility himself. This is just the world reacting. There will be consequences to your action. Even if the network didn't want to give it to Tom, the audience was going to go, fuck this guy. That's normal. That's healthy to look at it that way. Oh my God. You can like him on this show. That's fine and dandy randy, but to be like, it's cool, you guys. It's like, girl, it's not. No, please don't dumb it down like that, especially when Carolyn herself has admitted she doesn't know the history with Vanderpump and Bravo and all the stuff. She just doesn't. And that's okay. You don't have to, but then don't take it away from everyone else that we can't feel like this guy sucks.
Because I saw a lot of myself in Tom.
Okay.
And
okay, let me make it big again. Big screen. Big screen. Okay.
Good. And I shouldn't see, it's like the cool thing to do right now is to make fun of Tom. The cool thing to do is to, he's a, dirtball and he's a narcissist and he's all like, I love Tom and I don't like cancel me tomorrow. I don't like, I will say that out loud because
that is such an interesting hill to choose to die on. The Tom Sandoval hill. I am baffled by this. It's one thing to be like, I like the dude. He was cool on the show. We're buddies. And if people don't like him, that's their biz. Cool. I like him. Okay. But this, like, cancel. Carolyn has said this. Isn't this weird? She keeps saying this. Cancel me tomorrow. Tom has enough people taking up for him and has his whole life. Why do problematic men always get like lines and lines of women who are willing to throw it all away? Carolyn's star is on the rise and she's like, cancel me tomorrow, girl. Okay, because I love Tom Sandoval. I don't care. Cancel me. He's great. You barely know him. Please keep your upward trajectory. You don't need to bring Tom with you. He had like 11 years on television. And he's still on television, I should say, but 11 years on the show. And he showed us who he was. And we made our opinion.
And he's a narcissist and he's all like, I love Tom and I don't like cancel me tomorrow. I don't like, I will say that out loud because I truly don't believe that anyone ever deserves to be judged forever by their past. I am somebody who has I don't have a good past.
His past is currently happening. He's still behaving that way. Like it's not that long ago. She acts like we're holding him accountable for something a long time ago that he made amends for and was super sorry about it. No.
To hate myself. I used to not like the person I was. I've done some bad things that I'm not proud of.
Thank you, Husky Mama. So has Tom. We don't hate him like Husky Mama's saying. We just don't tolerate men that cannot take accountability. We're done doing that. And we don't tolerate men that also don't take accountability and then try to drag down women for no reason.
Like cancel me tomorrow. I don't like, I will say that out loud because I truly don't believe that anyone ever deserves to be judged forever by their past. I am somebody who has I don't have a good past. I used to hate myself. I used to not like the person I was. I've done some bad things that I'm not proud of.
I have to pause this so much. I'm sorry, you guys. The difference between you and him, Carolyn, is you take accountability. You're in recovery. You're someone who's taken accountability. You're someone who owns it. He's never owned it. He's never taken accountability. Tom thinks he's the victim of his own crimes. Tom creates a scenario. And then even though he did it, he's the victim. And he drags down other people. And too many women and also men see through this because they have had toxic partners like this. who have treated them this way, made them feel like they were the problem, gaslit them, dragged them down. So the same way, anything can be triggered. The same way people are triggered maybe by the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing, or the same way people were triggered by the Sandoval of it all. We were like, oh shit, and how he continued to behave. So the difference is you took accountability. You know what it's like to take accountability. This man has not. He will lie to you and tell you he has, but he hasn't. There are receipts out there. It is just, there's no point in being this willfully ignorant on this topic. Just don't go so hard for him. Like, just don't do it. You don't have to. Is he paying her? What's happening?
So has Tom. And it's like, how long does this person have to like be punished? So again,
thank you.
I'm
Anna,
not going to like.
I have to keep. This is so fucking ridiculous. I did not think she would go on and on this much. Anna said he literally is being taken to court for recording someone sexually without their consent. And she's like, he's a great guy. It's kind of like similar to when the Harvey Weinstein stuff was coming out. I know Tom's not Harvey Weinstein, but you had certain actresses that were like, Harvey was great to me. Well, that's great. That's fantastic that you had such a good experience, but all these other people had such a shitty experience. So just because you had a good experience, just because he decided not to treat you like shit, doesn't mean that other people don't have the story, right? Avaria, thank you. Past means his present. It's his present. Carolyn, don't die on this hill, girl. Seriously. I know you have a lot of aspirations and dreams and stuff, and you've said it. That guy is not the guy. But this is how manipulative and stuff Tom is, that he gets women to believe him. And they're like, poor Tom. No, Tom is not a victim. Tom's the criminal. He's been a bad, bad Tom.
Some bad things that I'm not proud of. So has Tom. And it's like, how long does this person have to like be punished? So again, I'm not going to like, there's people who don't like him for certain reasons, and that's fine. Like, go ahead and not like him. You may have like a personal experience with him, but my experience with him, I loved him. So when people weren't listening to him, it like, even though I was wanting to work with Rob, I mean, I wasn't going to like go above and beyond to save him because I couldn't. The way that Tom, like, he's saying valid points. He's saying things that did make sense that day, but nobody would listen to him because it was Tom. And so I spoke up and I'm like, just like, it is this group mentality of like, and I get jealous of people like, but I'm just being real. This is like embarrassing, but it's true. I just was like, I'm so sick of you sounding so perfect and sounding, and again, he's a great person and but out there, I was like, I can never talk like that. I could never be like that eloquent speaker. And you know what? Somebody who's like a little bit weird and quirky like Tom, no one's going to listen to. So again, I saw myself in that and I'm like, just shut up and let him talk.
He's not weird. He's not quirky. It's an act. He's an asshole. That's what he is. He's a manipulator and an asshole. He's not weird. He's not quirky. He's not fun. He's not you, Carolyn. Just because people don't listen to him, just because he's reliving the 90s with his wardrobe and music choices, so am I. Okay, but that doesn't mean that he's like fun, Aquarius, weird, quirky. No, he's just an asshole and a liar.
Fuck.
Yes.
Was he as sweaty in person as we saw on TV?
Great question.
Just at the beginning. But you know what I'm saying? I like literally got my period on the breakfast chair. So it's like, who the hell?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all like, we're all
human.
humans. Who the hell hasn't sweat here? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be like, okay, but he literally was wearing like a gray. That is the worst color to wear. And the man lost his bag, or his luggage wasn't there yet. He did not have any clothing. So it's like he was working with what he could work with and wearing that hot ass sweater. It was like literally thicker than, and then he's wearing a gray t-shirt.
So Carolyn's even going hard for his sweating. It's pretty clear. And as a sober person myself, I'm not going to bullshit and sugarcoat it. Something was detoxing from Tom. Something was going on with Tom to be sweating that profusely with no aerobic activity in the morning in Scotland when no one else was. Did he run there? What? He just started. Is he going through perimenopause like me? What's happening? But even that, she's like, yeah, I was wearing a sweater and it was like, girl, it was like a very thick sweater. Girl, like, why is she defending him this hardcore about everything? It was some kind of detail, like what we've learned about Jax Taylor, allegedly. There might be some Coca-Cola Classic or something happening. I don't know. Something weird is going on. That wasn't normal without like, going through some kind of menopause, or aerobic activity. Let's be so real right now.
T-shirt, yeah.
Look, you're not actually going to get anything done by watching another
freaking ads. But the fact that Carolyn's going so hard on the dumbest stuff for Tom, it really makes me wonder about what Chanel Ayan was saying about someone having a crush on Tom. Okay. All right. Makes me like, is that what's going on here?
Believe, and I've told him this a million times, that hot ass sweater, it was like literally thicker than
could have been.
And then he's wearing a gray t-shirt.
Yeah.
I love Tom, and I truly believe, and I've told him this a million times. I was like, you are a freaky, like you're a weirdo. He is a weirdo in the best way though. And I love freaks and I love weirdos and I love people who are different. From the
okay. It's just a little crush. Like it's Carolyn, Minnesota girl, sober girl to sober girl, possible ADHD, neurodivergent to neurodivergent. I think we might have uncovered what might be going on here. Little heart palpitation. He's not a fun, freaky dude. He's not. No. He's a plain Jane masquerading as that to thinking it's hiding his manipulative nature and his assholery so that he can prey on people like you who are actually fun, freaky, original people. You guys, this is bad. Maybe we need to get Joleen YouTube Premium. I'm trying to save some money right now. The husband's in school to be an RN, okay? We're trying to cut back. I'll get YouTube Premium soon. Once he's an RN, we'll have YouTube Premium. I'll make sure of it, you guys.
The minute, and I'm like, ooh, so I always loved just like fucking around with him and scaring him, and I'd like be spying on him and doing weird shit. I loved him, but he opened up about like,
you loved him? Okay, let's just rewind a little bit. This is like a love letter. I haven't heard her talk about anyone else like this.
You're a freaky, like you're a weirdo. He is a weirdo in the best way though, and I love freaks and I love weirdos and I love people who are different. From the minute and I'm like, ooh, so I always loved just like fucking around with him and scaring him, and I'd like be spying on him and doing weird shit. I loved him. But he opened up about like his struggles and what it just crap. And again, what drew me to him though was I saw myself in him. I can't stop pausing. He opened up about his struggles. Was the struggle how he had to borrow $250,000 from his mom's retirement because he makes bad business deals and he's selfish? Did he open up about how he hasn't paid his mom back, allegedly? Did he open up about how he's a cheater and a liar and blames women for things? Did he open up about his revenge porn lawsuit where he recorded Rachel Raquel without her knowledge while they were doing a fingerling sexting and saved it on his phone? What hardships has Tom been through? Like what? Do you open up how he likes to party, do shrooms, how he got a cake easy edit on Vanderpump Rules and they wanted to give him that till the end? But we were too smart and we're like, okay, this is enough now. And the producers still tried to save him as he continued to try to take Ariana down to the last minute of Vanderpump Rules, to the point where Ariana had to set her boundaries and walk off because the producers were pressuring her. And he was like, it's good for me. You guys remember this? What did he have to go? But he's using this to like Carolyn. No, he's not like you. He's not like us. Okay. He's just a problematic man who hasn't fixed himself or taken accountability.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Please, we do not need Captain Save-A-Tom. We've had so many of those. First one's named Lisa Vanderpump. Evelyn, thank you for being a member for 45 months. Evelyn says, Carolyn used to be a substance abuse counselor. Well, I assume Carolyn's probably like, I'm not going to call it out. I'm not going to name someone's addiction, which is a very responsible way to look at it. And maybe Tom did. We don't know what he opened up about, but maybe he did open up about, I did struggle or something with substances. Who knows? He could make it seem like it's in the past. Who knows what he opened up to her about? But this is like, Tom's not an outcast. Tom was one of the popular kids. Okay. He's one of the popular kids who then tried to cosplay as an outcast, like a cool guy. He's a model, a actor who shaved his forehead and talks down to women. He's one of the beautiful people. Like, he's not this like last picked on the playground. He didn't have to do much of anything to become the first picked on Vanderpump Rules and lead the charge and become the narrator. Oh my God. Okay, Carolyn. All right. Come on, girl. As someone who's a little older than you, I think I'm like 5 years older than you, Carolyn. Just believe me. We're from the same place. Minnesota to Minnesota. Believe me, girl.
Up about like his struggles and what it just crap. And again, what drew me to him though was I saw myself in him. I saw like the people not taking him seriously. I've experienced all of that.
Yeah.
There's many times out there where I felt like the female Tom.
Because you did say that during the chess game or something. You were saying how like nobody listens to you.
So here, and then Dylan, like, sorry, don't be you, like, girl. You see me and Dylan talking, and he's like, I know, and I hate that because I go, if I were Boston Rob, would you be listening right now? He's like, I know, and I hate that I've been doing this to you, not listening. And then you hear him say before that, he's talking about how nobody thinks that but Carolyn. That's a bunch of bullshit. That's not, girl, we've seen it. People not listening to me. Like, stop. But anyway, he... with that chess thing, and this is like the human part of me because I can never play any of these damn games. I don't care how much the prize pot is. I don't care how I can never play and I can't separate it. I try and then I can't. Tom was on a mission to redeem himself.
Right.
Tom was on this, I'm going to be a faithful. He took it very seriously as we saw in the lullaby thing. He was trying really hard. I remember I was like, for me, like, I ain't going to be running really hard. You're not going to catch me. No way. I loved Kate's style of like, just like throwing stuff and like, I'm not hauling all this gunpowder because I know that there's about 5 other macho men who want to have that moment and that shot of them running. Let them. I told Gabby, I'm like, girl, we can take a break right here hauling that brick.
That's Tom. He wants to be seen as that. He wants to be like, look, I'm so strong. I'm a really tough guy. That's Tom. That's what he wants to do, girl.
I don't care. I don't care if my head's up there. I'm a traitor. But like, I just didn't care when it came to that. So with Tom was trying. He was trying. So for me, I'm like, when he said like, oh, he's the leader, or had said, I think he had answered it first, that he could be the leader. Okay.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Kudla, founder.
Yes, he answered that he would be the leader. He was the one that everyone would be scared of because that's how Tom thinks. Tom thinks he's the best. Tom, this doesn't hurt Tom. Tom literally thinks he's the best. Tom is Tom's biggest fan. Tom is captain, president of the Tom Sandoval fan club. Tom Sandoval is the president of the Tom Sandoval fan club. He's good, girl. He is fine. Girl, he is good. Okay? You don't need to take up for him. He's not struggling, but I bet he played that card to her.
So for me, I'm like, when he said like, oh, he's the leader, or had said, I think he had answered it first, that he could be the leader. Okay. I just wanted for one moment for Tom to not fucking feel alone and feel like there was somebody else on that cast who believed in him. That's the truth. That is my heart talking. And I wanted him to just feel for one fucking second that he was not alone in thinking that he could be this leader.
Yeah.
And I know that's like good. And like,
you are not alone. Carolyn's here for you. Although you're far away and an asshole, Carolyn's here to stay with you, Sandoval. You are not alone. You are not alone. Like, what the are we doing here, Carolyn? Why are we talking so much about Tom Sandoval? Can people stop asking her about Tom Sandoval? I just want him to feel not alone. Girl, I just want him to believe me. He's not alone. He's never alone. That's his problem. He literally wants to be with multiple people at the same time. He's never alone. He always has. He's either with Tom Schwartz, cheating on his girlfriend, lying. I mean, he's always getting tons of opportunities. What did he tell this woman that she thinks he's this underdog who no one listens to him? Well, he sounds ridiculous and he's extremely childish. And he's like, cringe. Oh, Carolyn is so lost in the sauce, you guys. Can we get her back? I don't know.
And I wanted him to just feel for one fucking second that he was not alone.
You'll die of alcohol poisoning.
Could be this leader.
Yeah.
And I know that's like good. And like, again, obviously it's like we see him mess up a lot.
You know what? Like, I think Carolyn is a victim of severance. I think they did a severance. Okay. Yep. They had to do a severance. Something's going on here. Her innie and outie are getting, something's happening. Something's going on. Her brain is severed. Something happened. They did something to Carolyn. This can't be real, right?
Like, I don't care. I love it. And I really hope that even as he watches this back, it's like, I feel like this has helped him. I feel like it's kind of made him like a little bit lovable.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Should I shut up about Tom?
Yes.
I do. I think he's great. And I just don't think that anyone needs to be punished,
No, it's like
the rest of their life.
The doll challenge, I feel like, made him so endearing because he really was trying so hard.
I mean, I don't know if they put this on, but he was like warming up and
vocal less.
And I was like, I couldn't believe it. But again, and so when other people would be like side-eyeing him, I would be like, go Tom. And I wasn't doing it in like a condescending, like me. I would always tell people, shut up. Like, cause I get those looks too. And you saw it during the season. Like I get that all the time.
Yeah.
So I can just relate to that. And I loved him.
Carolyn, he objectively can't sing. And he's the lead singer of his own band called Tom Sandoval and the Most Extras. And that's not satire. And that's with zero humility. He thinks he's like really good singer. And you can just listen and go, oh, he's not. So you're going to get looks when you're like, I'm a singer. I take this very seriously. I'm the only one who's musically inclined. And he's like, you're going to be like, what kind of singing are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? He can't find the note. He's just like, he's like constantly looking for the note, but he can't find it. It's like me going, I am a very good singer. You'll go, no, you're not, Jolene. You're a comedian. And your voice sounds funny. And I'll go, yeah, that's true. That is true. But Tom's like, no, I'm very good. It's like when he said he could play the trumpet really well. And then we saw him on Vanderpump Rules and he can't play the trumpet very well. That's how much self-esteem he has. He gets on a stage, pays people in his band to be like, I'm the lead singer. So of course people are going to look and go, what do you know singing? Is that good? It's objectively bad. I understand that the arts are, subjective. But if me as a stand-up comedian, if I get on stage and I have zero jokes, you can go, that's objectively bad comedy. Now, if I have jokes, you're like, I just don't really like her comedy. Subjectively, it's not my flavor. But the man literally can't find a note. And can't sing. And that's objective.
Good. Put me in prison.
I do really respect this about you because I know when
Sir, whoever you are on the vials, please stop. No, don't do this to Carolyn. If you really love her, you're not going to feed into the Delulu. This is Delulu at this point. It's Delulu. She's wasting her whole interview talking about a man who she's not even dating, who has done so much in his past that she isn't even aware of, and saying he should be forgiven and talking about him and how great he is when she should just be like pumping up herself because she's having a killer season of this show and is most likely going to be invited on lots of other shows. But what is she going to put it in her contract? You got to have Tom Sandoval. Like, I'll do the show. Okay. I'll come on for Survivor's 50. Okay, girl. But I would think Tom should come. He's like, I love him. He's good. Yeah, he loves to be naked. He would be great on Survivor. Yeah. Carolyn, no.
Him, I would be like, go, Tom. And I wasn't doing it in like a condescending, like
God.
me. I would always tell people, shut up. Like, because I get those looks too. And you saw it during the season. Like, I get that all the time.
Yeah.
So I can just relate to that. And I loved him. Good. Put me in prison.
I do really respect this about you because I know when you were banished, you had your kind of little speech of like being judged for being different or being quirky. Like we're more than just that. Like we are humans. You can like see us past that. And I respect that you're like taking an inclusive approach of seeing people for who they are beyond what's not the norm.
And I loved Nikki had a similar of just because people were judging her and thinking that she was gonna like, and it's like, seriously, Wes, because Wes expected her to like come out apparently in a wrestling outfit,
like table slam him.
Like, oh my gosh. And I'm thinking like, this isn't the wrestling ring, but I'm a traitor. And so I'm like, yeah, it's Nikki.
Yeah.
But Nikki was that like, because Nikki was pretty quiet when she was out there. She was pretty reserved. She had her people. You know what I'm saying? Nikki is not like, this is not what does she wrestle for? The
WWE?
Yeah. This isn't the wrestling ring, but she said that like, I loved her speech. I thought it was beautiful because it is so true. Like we have these, and I did it. I'm not going to lie. I did it to people out there where I judged them or I thought Wes was a freaking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, ew. He was one of the first people that I was like, oh my gosh, I was wrong. You are not an asshole. You are blah, blah, blah. Same with Boston Rob.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wes is a sweetheart?
I thought he was amazing. I thought that I had a good experience with him because I know too, isn't there like some aggressive talk or something? Like I didn't have that experience, but even like when I watched the show back and saw even like how Boston Rob talked with Rochelle, I'm thinking in my head, like me and Boston Rob did not have that type of relationship, but at the same time, I'm a traitor like with Boston Rob.
Right.
You have to like spend time and have your little like alliances and whatnot. But we like in Boston Rob's defense, we never had the time to like actually sit down, and it was always like, quick, what are we gonna do? Go. And that's it. So of course, but with Wes, I just found him like, again, like his jokes and like, in my opinion, like not everyone understood his humor.
Right.
But I thought he was like, the first thing I said to him, I'm like, how the hell have you been doing this for this long? And he's like, Carolyn, I am dead inside. Or he was like, but he's like, I have to just separate it. Yeah. And he's like, he always calls himself a sociopath. And I'm like, you're not. First of all, he really is. He is somebody who has helped me a lot.
I wish Tom Sandoval had the kind of self-awareness that Wes does about his villain arc and I'm a sociopath doing it this long. Tom would be like, well, I had to, because people are picking on me. It's not my fault. Women are throwing their tits at me. There's nothing I can do about it. Ariana didn't clean the kitty litter. Evelyn, thank you so much for the super chat. First super chat of the live says, this is a wild hill for Carolyn to die. I'm just happy she's talking about someone else. Granted, it is another guy. But I'm happy she's talking about someone else than Tom Sandoval. So
thought even after the game. And I think he's a great person. I think he like turns it on and off for TV, but truly is, even out there, I saw a very kind person because he knew who I was from Survivor. And he's like, yep, you're the one who just makes all those faces. And I'm like, I'm more than that, Wes. Yeah. But no, I thought he was great.
Do you think, because you've talked about like group mentality, that there's like a popular kids group in the castle?
Oh, girl. Yeah, I was trying to get in with those Bambis from Hawaii.
The Bambis,
yeah,
okay.
The Bambis.
Girl.
Yeah.
And like, again, but at the same time, it's exhausting to, here's the truth.
Our hotel is the best in the world.
Mad at Max. Too much.
Like just moments like off camera with people where it was like, oh my gosh, where I'm like connecting with them and I would just feel gross and make fun of me. I don't care. It felt so icky I know we're not actually murdering them, but for this, the only way I would have been able to do this role of a traitor is if I could just, again, keep it light and blah, blah, blah. But it felt so like unfair to be doing this with like, you know, a Tom or a housewife, or do you get what I'm saying? It felt so gross because they are not well, maybe they should be used to it then, Carolyn. I don't care. It felt icky.
They're adults. They're adults who signed up for a show called Traitors, where you get murdered in a castle And some people are traitors and some people are faithfuls, and you have to suss out what is what. Tom is more villainous in real life than any of the traitors are on the Traitors. Dolores has seen and associated with more villainous people in real life than anyone has been as a traitor or on the Traitors. True for all of the housewives, true for all of the Bravo people. Why are we acting like the Bravo people are so innocent? What are you talking about? What is happening? Their friends are in prison, Carolyn. The housewives' friends are going to jail. Not just jail. We're talking junkyard dog prison. Okay? Gray sweatsuits, eating bologna, like prison. They're fine. They're fine. Tom Sandoval is currently being sued for revenge porn. Why are we acting like these poor people? I mean, they're just like, Chriselle is in real estate. That is a corrupt business in itself. This ain't her first rodeo. Like, what is happening? They signed up for this show. What are we supposed to protect them and go, just wake them up and go, excuse me, hi, you're murdered. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I'm going to have to murder you. Yeah. Can I get a hug? No, it's a fucking game show. What is going on? Oh my God.
What's the matter with you people? You're sad that people are mean? Well, I'm sorry. The world isn't one big liberal arts college campus. We eat too much. We take our spoiled lives for granted. Feel a little bad about it sometimes. No. You want to put all your shit up on the internet and have every single person say, hooray for you. F you. You're all pricks.
Yes, Chriselle's an actress too. She knows what's going on. Simone says Carolyn has an enormous amount of empathy, and I totally understand. Yeah, I could totally see that. But to the point where I feel like she couldn't possibly maybe play the game to her fullest extent. I mean, she did a really good job flying under the radar, no one thinking she's a traitor. But it was that empathy, you could argue, that kind of got her out. The fact that she went so hard for Tom in the chess game, what they brought up during this interview. And that was, one of her downfalls in the game, when deciding like, who's worthy of this enormous amount of empathy. I don't know, but I understand what you're saying, Simone. I totally get it. But wow.
So when I would bond with these people, I felt gross inside. So when I'd be crying, and this is off camera conversations of real life stuff going on where I'm connecting, I'm thinking Dolores specifically, she knew some just stuff that was going on in my life, and we're crying. And then I'm like, oh my God, and I just murdered Robin. And it felt good. I don't care. It didn't feel good for me. I don't like to. So when I said I wanted to be a traitor, but I thought that, and I even asked Sandra before the show, I said, are people because when you watch, there's not a whole ton of backstory or because on Survivor, it's this is what I went through and accomplished. And it talks about just my life. I thought with traitors, I'm they don't do that shit here. Right. So even when there were times where I was talking because there's times where it's okay, just save that for the camera or whatever. I was do you guys even give a shit about this past stuff or my trauma? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought this show was just upbeat and fun and whatever. You know what I'm saying?
That girl goes, yeah. And I don't think she understood what Carolyn was saying. Do you watch her face? She's yeah.
I thought with traitors, I'm they don't do that shit here. Right. So even when there were times where I was talking because there's times where it's okay, just save that for the camera or whatever. I was do you guys even give a shit about this past stuff or my trauma? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought this show was just upbeat and fun and whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I was they're not going to use that anyway. But I would have those Sandra had said oh yeah, no girl, we're just playing and it's blah, blah, blah. No, again, there are people who obviously are going, and I'm not saying it's not okay to emotionally manipulate people. I just can't. I could do that in Survivor with other gaming people. Yeah. It just felt icky in that environment. So when I would,
but they're gaming, and arguably, you've told us how they game, how they know how they're getting screen time, how it's kind of fake. Because that resonated with me with Carolyn. She's I'm not from this world. I played one Survivor girl. But these people know when to turn it on and when not to. So I was wow. So they're gaming. That's part of the game. Part of the game They know they've been on Bravo so many years in this reality show. So I think this is Carolyn not giving them enough credit for actually understanding the game overall, understanding how to lie, how to get ahead, all those things, but not maybe applying it in the right way within the Traitors, if that makes any sense. It made sense when I said it in my head, but you know what I'm saying. Pamela, thank you for the super chat. Pamela says, gotta sign into work soon. But thank you, Jolene. You are so welcome, Pamela, and I hope your work day goes by swimmingly and smooth.
Would connect and it just felt like wrong.
Yeah. You're making me think of MJ last season where it's like she's from Bravo and she got played last minute by the two gamers left, Trishelle and CT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's MJ's fault. Like, what are you and MJ like didn't let that shit go. She took it so personally that people would lie in a game called Traitors.
Like for me as a viewer, I felt so betrayed for her.
I was, yeah, that what, and then people, and this is what I hate too, like shut up and let her feel it. Like let her, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that hurt. I was even shocked. I was like,
but I feel like in Carolyn's pursuit to be like, don't be judgy. And I get what she's doing. Simone says perhaps Carolyn wants to give Tom an undeserved fresh start because of her past of being a drug counselor. 100%. And she is used to not judging people on their past. Yes, it's a lot of projection because, you know, as someone who is sober, as someone with an addiction, as I can speak to being an alcoholic myself, I know of my past and my past mistakes. You know, and you do want to give credence and empathy and stuff for people so that, you know, you aren't defined by your addiction or by your past. I totally get that. But you cannot do that unless he has never went through the step of actually, not even formally through like AA steps, but he has never even in life went through any, just for lack of a better term, step where he has asked for has been truly sorry and asked for forgiveness and apologized to people. He has never done that. There's never been a part where he has owned his actions like we do as like a lot of, not everybody, but a lot of addicts do, you know, owning your past behavior, you know, taking responsibility, not blaming anyone or anything else, and then asking for forgiveness. And understanding that not everyone will forgive and that's okay. And they don't owe that to you. And nobody owes you anything. That's the part of addiction is like this, you know, acting like the world owes you something. It can keep you sick. It can keep you drinking. It can keep you using when you have that kind of mentality that the world owes you something, you know? It's like the Ani DeFranco song. We owe each other the world, you know, that the world owes me nothing. We owe each other the world. I do it because it's the least I can do. I do it because I learned it from you. I do it just because I want to, You know, you have to think it's that hope versus expectation. It's a way I was able to get my brain a little healthier is saying, you know, don't expect but hope. So when you start expecting things, you get bitter as fuck and you get angry and you get mad and you start thinking the world owes you something, that the world is working against you. And that's a really unhealthy way. But if you just like hope for things and never expect, it's amazing how that little change within your brain can positively affect you. So Tom is it's always someone else's fault. He's always the victim. You can't always be the victim of this shit. Eventually you have to take some accountability. And he doesn't do that. And not only doesn't he do that, but he continues to blame and hurt other people. So, But I think in my original point, Simone, I think that's a great point that you're bringing up, and you're 100% right. But I think what Carolyn might not realize is that while doing that and wanting not all this judgment on Tom without truly understanding his past or if he's ever been sorry or asked for forgiveness or taken accountability, you're also passing a lot of judgment on other people. And telling other people that their feelings are wrong and that it's some kind of mob mentality. And that it isn't just the consequences of somebody's actions, because people's actions do have consequences. And so I think with her being like, don't judge Tom. Like, what's wrong with you people? There's a lot of judgment on us. And so I think there's probably somewhere in the middle of my feelings and Carolyn's feelings is probably a really healthy way to look at it. I'm on one extreme, like, Carolyn, wake up. And, but also because I know, like, we know the history of Sandoval. We know why people feel the way they do about him. And that's something he could totally fix. but he always wants someone to come in and just pull him out of any accountability and save his ass. And that's not the way life works. He's 92 years old, you guys. The man's about to turn 93 years old. When is enough for him to take accountability as a grown ass adult and stand in his mistakes and be okay that there are consequences and that with that he can grow, blah, blah. Moving on.
It was like,
good point, Simone.
Clear, like y'all knew, but that's the game. I don't care. I don't like watching games like that. Let's all win together then.
Yeah.
I don't care. Good. We all, and I guess I can respect how other people feel too. That's just not how I feel. And I did not, when I would see like Danielle crying to that extreme, I'm like,
girl,
I don't like this. I don't want to do that. And so I was like, the only way I can do this is if I try to keep it surface level, or if I try to just, hi. And so I really did. I was like, just do the best that you can and have like the, how you doing bullshit conversations. But that sucks too.
Yeah.
From the chess game, when did you kind of realize that Danielle had,
No.
You didn't?
No, we're sorry, finish.
I was just know if you realized that Danielle double crossed you or that you outed yourself with helping Tom with the answer.
Okay. No, here's the deal. That was me believing in Tom. And,
Okay.
yeah, good. I put that answer because it was freaking funny. Like, that's the thing. You could like create a million different scenarios with like when she was like, see, I set her up with that Brittany one because Brittany, I'm close with Brittany. Blah, blah, blah. And that makes it look suspicious. Yeah, girl. Gabby was picked for the Two-Face one too. I don't think that was on there. Gabby was picked for the Two-Face one. But I don't talk like that. And I'm not going to go in my damn confessional and be like, you see here, I'm close to Gabby. And that's going to put suspicion on Danielle. No, I don't. I was just like, whoa, that's me. So no, anytime, and I would say this, even when we were thinking of like who to murder, I was like, I almost need to do the damn opposite of anything that this person says. That's how I felt. So that's why I say, I think there's a confessional where I say something like, I'm like overthinking everything. So if she's agreeing to something, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, no, then I should do the opposite. So you tried like thinking like that. But when it came, I willingly put myself as the like loud voice where no one listens to voice. Because this was my thought, okay? My thought was like, I'm so loud about this. I am so loud about no one listens to me. And nobody did that. It would look way too freaking like that is like the double obvious of like a traitor would never freaking put themselves as that position as I am the loud ass one being like, no one listens to me.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, they clearly they just thought I was a complete fucking idiot. That's my opinion. Sorry, clearly, if they're like, the Carolyn put herself there. My problem, yes, I answered it because that's what we were doing. We were going off of whether I believe it or not. So again, because Dylan's like, nope, that's not what everyone thinks. Yes, it is, first off. But second, we were going off of like the read of the room. And recently I had been saying it so much. So it was like, okay, well, I guess I always say that. So that could be an answer. Just like Sierra had said, Brittany's or going under the radar or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the read of the, like
From what just happened.
What just happened. No. But yeah, the only suspicious thing I did was argue with Dolores.
Okay.
And then stand up for Tom too much. Good. That's my heart talking.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it. I never felt like suspicious.
You guys, she's down bad. We're gonna have to get her like 6 Taylor Swift albums to get out of this one. She's down bad. I followed my heart, okay, and Tom. Yeah, and I don't regret it. Carolyn, in the nicest way possible. I've heard a lot of women say this and take up for this man. They've all regretted it horribly. There's literally tape of it. They've all regretted it. Some have started out like his friend, like you are, and then that's how Ariana started. And I will say she regrets it. Kristen Doty regrets it. Yeah. This is I did not know it was gonna be this much. I didn't know. The heart wants what the heart wants, Miss T says. And I here's another thing I find interesting. Even though she keeps talking about Tom, there was like a little bit where she talked about Danielle. and Danielle's delivery, and Danielle delivering these like, confessionals that she's now seeing, obviously watching the show, of Danielle being like, because we saw it last episode where Danielle was doing confessions about Gabby, like, I hate to do this to you, Gabby, but I'm going to have to take you downtown to Murder Town or whatever. You know what I mean? Like doing this confession, like, I hate to do it. You're a nice person, Gabby. But then we see Gabby survived. And, but this is very, I understand Carolyn doesn't do, confessionals this way, and she doesn't have to. It would seem probably disingenuous if she did. But Danielle does and has. And you know who else does? Wes. You know who else does? Boston Rob. You know who else does? Tony. Like all your buddies do this, but somehow it's a problem that Danielle does this. Bob the drag queen did that too. Well, a little bit. But Boston Rob is like known for this. He's like, I hate to do this to you, but I got to pit these two, because he's masterful in the way that he pits people against each other and gets people to work for him and do things that aren't all really good for their game, but he makes them believe it's good for their game, but really it's best for Boston Rob. So it's interesting to me that it's Rob and Wes, and they're such good gamers and you respect them and they're mentors, but Danielle does it and it's like, it's evil, it's gross, like, ugh. But literally everyone you hang out with in the gamer world does their confessionals like that. And they're playing people like the chess pieces, like, you think you got me? Oh no, I'm 10 steps ahead of you. That is literally Boston Rob in every season of Survivor, Deal or No Deal Island, playing these people like chess. That's what he's good at. That's what he's known for. So Danielle doing the same thing, that's what she's known for in the Big Brother world too. And this kind of, this kind of confessional is very common in Survivor or Big Brother, but I wonder why it's such an issue for Danielle doing it. Now you can argue and be like, well, I don't think Danielle's game is as good as theirs in the or the way they delivered it in the Traitors. I guess you could argue that. I mean, she is still in the game and they're all gone, but yeah, you can argue that you don't like her delivery of it, I guess, but it's kind of similar to Boston Rob. It's the same to me. That delivery of the confessional, pointing out like, I hate to do this to you, but I'm over here and y'all having you thinking this, and really you're going to do this. But the only difference is Danielle is a woman and played Big Brother and not Survivor or The Challenge. I don't know. It's interesting. But this fucking Tom Sandoval stuff, oh my God.
Going under the radar or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the read of
what just happened.
What just happened. No. But yeah, the only suspicious thing I did was argue with Dolores.
Okay.
And then stand up for Tom too much. Good. That's my heart talking.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it. I never felt like suspicious. But again, that wasn't enough to get me like, it's all good. Like truly.
It's all good, truly. Girl, like the most suspicious thing I did was like stand up too much for Tom Sandoval, but I love it. I'm not sad about it. I love it.
Danielle's
and even this host, she's like, okay.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it.
I
never felt like suspicious, but again, that wasn't enough to get me like, it's all good. Like truly.
So were you shocked by Danielle's turning on you at the round table?
Yes. I like, girl. I wasn't prepared, but I was too hard on myself. Like I always am. And when I say like, I wasn't ready, like I wasn't prepared for like just a lot of the stuff that she said. Cause I felt like it was so crazy that I was like, this is not happening. Cause I felt so gaslit. Where it's like, and then I'm saying things and it was just flipped around. Like oh, I've been scared and Jeremy. And I'm like, wait, what, how is this happening? I was in shock.
Yeah.
To be honest, because I truly wanted to just wait because it's scary. Like, again, I'm playing. I love Tom, but I knew I couldn't depend on Tom. You think I'm going to be like, yo, Tom, like before here, can I count on you? This ain't like Survivor where you can freaking do that and like pull together numbers. You can't well, I guess Boston Rob can.
Yeah.
I can't. And so before that round table, first of all, there was not time. So I had talked to Gabby and I talked to Dylan. Okay. That Lord, I knew Dolores was not like, I'm like, girl, she ain't going to vote for Danielle. Tom, I knew I couldn't depend on, but I figured he could at least read the room long enough to like understand like this is where the vote was going and like pick me. But I didn't think I just didn't think I'd be out. I really
Whoever this woman is, I know she's a host. I'll look up her name, but this host, she's killing it. She's like, okay, yeah. She knows because she knows how Tom is. They've interviewed. They did the Files did a long interview with Tom Sandoval. It was watch it, Carolyn. Watch that interview. It was a mess with both the Toms. I did a whole breakdown of it, a whole roast of it. But I love this. I love this young woman and her reactions.
So I had talked to Gabby and I talked to Dylan. Okay. That Lord, I knew Dolores was not like, I'm like, girl, she ain't gonna vote for Danielle. Tom, I knew I couldn't depend on, but I figured he could at least read the room long enough to like understand like this is where the vote was going and like pick me. But I didn't think I just didn't think I'd be out. I really didn't. So I have a plan, Carolyn. I didn't freaking need one because I literally have been, and I didn't think of the chess crap as like, woo, I gave it all away. So you know what I'm saying? I was not.
I mean, it did look sus. You told Dolores you literally lied. So your argument going into the round table was, if you're faithful, you don't have to lie. But then we watched you lie to Dolores in front of everyone, straight to her face during the chess game. Like I didn't say that. And they're like, I'm sorry, what? Huh? Thank you, Chickenhead PK Dorkface Neely for the super chat saying just learned Tom Schwartz is in Japan with Kyle Chan without Tom. Trouble in Kyle Chan paradise. I don't know. Maybe Vicky was like, we're not going. We're not going. All right.
And again, like, girl, she's like, you photoshopped a picture of or you photoshopped your head on the body of a traitor. You think I can tell Lord Ivor or Dolores or anyone else there that like, hey, the season 2 cast, they're all wearing cloaks. Janelle wasn't a traitor though. I just used her body when I photoshopped my face on it. You know, I was embarrassed. I was like looking at Ellen like, oh my God. And she owns a cloak. Yeah, I do, girl. I sleep in it.
Yeah.
I think you're just authentic.
Like,
that's how I read it.
But it was just like, can you imagine? How am I supposed to? Like,
that little buddy wants to be her bestie. I think you're just authentic. That's how I read it. You're fine. Everything you do is fine. It's great. I love how much you love Tom. You love him so much at the detriment to yourself. I love it. I love that for you. Slow down, sir. That guy is just like really all in. And there's nothing wrong with wearing a cloak, owning a cloak. I have a cloak. I wear it when we do our roasts and recaps. So it's totally normal.
But it was so ridiculous, the stuff that I was like, I just remember looking at Alan and feeling so embarrassed because I'm like, yeah, I do sleep in a cloak, Alan. It was, yeah.
Would you say that a lot of the distrust within the Traitors came from like Danielle playing games?
Really, when I think about this, honestly, thankfully, Boston Rob did that. Otherwise, it kind of, well, no, then Dylan had obviously told me that Danielle's throwing my name out and I found out that started like the crazy. But I understand why he did that. But I don't care what anybody says. Once somebody does that to you, it's really hard to like be like, all right, let's play together and like move on.
I agree. I think that was one of the biggest mistakes in Danielle's game was coming for Carolyn rather than just not teaming up with Carolyn to take out Rob. I think that was more of her playing the game like Big Brother than it was the Traitors. Her thinking, I'll take out one of Rob's allies. I think her and Carolyn could have successfully gotten Boston Rob out. So I do think that is, and I do agree that after that happens, it's going to be really hard to trust Danielle.
Kept doing it too.
It's like,
so.
But
this guy is throwing Danielle, and she kept doing it too. She kept doing it.
I know, but like to the audience though, they don't really hear. It's like, I've been trying, but Carolyn's unstable. Yeah, I am unstable now.
Well, you've got reunion coming up.
Yeah, I'm excited.
See, that is the thing. Carolyn now being treated like she was unstable. That was a horrible way to stop. It's a horrible place to stop. But she's like, oh, you want to call me unstable? You want to act like I'm unstable? Well, I'll show you unstable. So Carolyn is playing from a place of hurt and talking now from a place of hurt still about that.
I'm lying.
So when we talk the personal comments that I was asking, who made personal comments? I think she's talking about this. I think she's talking about them. Yes, I think this is what she's referring to.
I'm lying. And here's why. Things do hurt me. But again, I write about it, I journal about it. And then, it was the same way on Survivor where I had my meltdown. It's like people don't realize that these games, like it's a lot. And I play as myself. So things hurt. Okay. Things hurt. And I would like argue in my head, like, well, Carolyn, this is a part of your strategy. Yours, but it's like, yeah, but it's myself. And so when I see the side eyes and but it helps you in the game, it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't mean that words don't hurt still. Right. And again, it's like at the end of the day, what do I change? What do I got to change? Because if I might get far in the game, but if nobody is actually respecting you or taking you seriously, then what is the point? Mm-hmm. What's the point? So it's like, I don't like but I don't want.
And I can see how Carolyn felt that way because there were many episodes I watched in the turret and I was like, oh, they really just think they don't really have respect for her. She seemed like a disposable traitor to them. They just could never get on the same page and communicate with each other. And so I could see how Carolyn would feel that way. Mm-hmm.
Change. Good.
Carolyn is taking that. She's like, oh, I've heard this before. And okay. Just like Rebels is saying, I can relate because I will do that too. Oh, you want to say loud? I'll get loud.
So I'm excited, but I'm
do you have things prepared that you want to hash out or
nope.
No?
And you know what? And I said this before the Traitors. I was like, because I do trip over my words. I have a slow processing speed. I am somebody who needs a minute, and I get really triggered by people yelling at me. And I get really triggered by people talking down to me. Like, you don't know my life and and that's the thing. We don't know what people have been through before you. And when you're talked to like that, it's like, girl. So what was I saying? Like, yeah, this
reunion.
Yeah, it's hard. So like going into this, it's like, so like for Final Tribal at Survivor, I was like, I'm just going to speak from my heart. It's like, when am I going to learn? But I don't really give a shit. Like, I'm not changing. And I was like, I wonder if I should take some debate classes before the Traitors and just like, because I want to sound polished sometimes. I want to sound like Boston Rob sometimes.
Yeah.
But then I wouldn't be me, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, so I guess I'll just like cast me again and I'll make it to episode. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what to do. But like, yes, sometimes I wish that I didn't react so emotionally. Sometimes I wish that, but again, at the end of the day, like that's me and I can't turn that off. That's not a character.
I mean, I think obviously you're not a character, but I think you can always, I don't think there's anything wrong or there would be anything disingenuous about you wanting to, work on being able to sell yourself within the debate at roundtable or in tribal. If you're going to play these social strategy games, I don't think there's anything wrong with maybe studying up on a little bit of debate or working on your ability to go toe to toe with people in these situations. I don't think you can totally do that. I sound like Carolyn. You can totally do that. Gosh.
Sure, that's not comments hurt. So going into the reunion, I guess I should have but yeah, once again, I'm not going to be prepared and we'll see how it goes. But Boston Rob will defend me.
Well, we absolutely loved watching you on Traitors, and I think you should stay being authentically yourself.
Yes.
And please come back to Survivor and I'll watch my first season with you on it.
Thank you.
Well, we're wishing you the best of luck for the reunion, and we're
come back after.
Yeah.
Stay away from Tom.
A vacation with
Okay. All right. That was a long one, but oh my God. Jim says, oh God, Tom does terrible. Yeah, at this reunion is going to try to defend Carolyn to a point. To a point he will. Okay. Wow, that I did not expect that much Tom love. I did. That was a lot, you guys. That was a lot. Carolyn seems to be a little lost in the sauce, and hopefully she awakens. However, Tom Sandoval has a way of awakening people to his problems himself by just being his normal self. and he will do that. And if you don't think Tom is a user, boozer, a user, and a loser, and who knows how to manipulate and use people in LA and in Hollywood, then I don't know. I guess he'll just have to show you. He'll just have to show you who he is. But I'm tired too, Otter. I'm very tired. And the shitty thing is, Carolyn, again, she's on the upward trajectory, and she's choosing to attach herself to sinking ships. She's choosing to kind of attach herself to toxic men. But I do have a lot of empathy for Carolyn, because I know personally she has spoken about, and I've seen some creators do videos on some issues she was dealing with a very toxic ex and getting out of that relationship. So I think I think that can play into it as well, is what she was going through with this ex. And yeah, I don't know. That was a lot. I haven't heard anything about her and Carson. Their podcast is not back up as far as I know. I haven't seen new videos or episodes pop up, so I don't know. I don't think she's spoken about what went on with her co-host, but we do know their last episode that they aired, I believe, was the Britney episode that allegedly gave some stuff away. And they took the episode down, but kept it up on the audio version on a podcast, but took down the video version. So I don't know. Yeah, it could be a bad picker. Yep. It could be a bad picker and another manipulative, toxic dude. Hopefully she can just get through. Godspeed, Carolyn. From Minnesota girl to Minnesota girl, sober girl to sober girl, neurodivergent to neurodivergent. I hope the best for you, but please, there's only so much I can do. There's only so much warning I can give. And when you find out who Tom Sandoval really is, I'll be here. Okay. With only maybe one, I told you so, and you should have listened to me. But just like a big sister energy. But then I will happily embrace you into the sea of women who know who this guy really is and what he's really doing. Okay. Yes. Where the fuck is Victoria? Well, let me tell you something. Tom's current girlfriend, Victoria Lee Robinson, she will tolerate this for a bit to get Tom's star back on the rise, but eventually they will. Here's what I think. I think they will use Carolyn, and they know that her star is on the rise, and they know that they want to be, keeping on television shows, and they want to kind of revamp Tom's image without him doing anything himself to be a redeemable person. And so they will use Carolyn, and when they're done with her, they'll be done with her. And when Victoria Lee Robinson thinks you're spending a little too much time with Tom, she will make that known. And unfortunately, they will drop Carolyn. But the good thing is, Carolyn's too good for them anyways. So hopefully she realizes that. End up, thank you for the super chat. End up says, the last 2 weeks, Carolyn has given me Joe VPR. Oh my God. Now I'm thinking about that. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No, 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 no. Oh no. Oh, that's a rough one. Oh, that's a rough one. Oh God. Oh, end up. Now I'm thinking that. I'm thinking about that. Okay, let's not go there yet. Let's not go there. But and God, please, because I saw this coming. Carolyn desperately wants, to go in a direction and be a host and podcast. And she's talked about that very openly. She wants to co-host the Jason show, who we now found that Nana in Minnesota, Nana has beef with Jason in Minnesota, which we found out yesterday. But she wanted to be a co-host to his. She wants to head down this podcast route. And so I would not be surprised if Tom Sandoval snatches her up. Just don't go into business with him, Carolyn. Your brand is so much better. So much better. Don't let him bring down your brand. Okay? Reality with Krista Marie. Good to see you. Says, I love that Brittany's ex kept calling Tom the sweaty. I know. That's why I love Sam. Sam was like, nah, I know this dude. I would love to hear Sam's unfiltered opinion of Tom Sandoval if he would give it to us. Kali Ali says Tom's new show, Sandoval Rules. It's all about his groupies following him around and cleaning his messes for real. I mean, he just treats women as they're supposed to fix things for him and do stuff for him. So, yeah, Nana wasn't happy. So that is my only fear for Carolyn. Protect your heart, protect your energy, because those two, Victoria and Tom, I think they will use you for, your rise right now. They will take this as opportunists and then drop. So yeah, beef in the bushes. Sandoval drools. Starlight says Tom really does have a bad reputation. Makes me want to watch his show to see why he's hated so much. And yeah, if you'll see in the early seasons that he was given a pristine edit. He really was treated throughout the years as, like one of the stars of the show, top billing, a narrator on the show. And then you go back and you watch his behavior. The edit could never fully protect him. And then through the years, watch interviews. I mean, if you want to just get a head start, you can watch the Vial File. No, I don't even know how to say Vial Files episode where Tom and Tom were on. And you get an idea of how bad that interview was. There's also a Howie Mandel interview that was really bad. And if you look through my Vanderpump playlist, I do full roast and recaps of it. So if you need a little Tom Sandoval education, I gotcha. So, okay. Yeah, grifter energy. Definitely. Carolyn, run. But that's all I can do. I can't talk about this anymore because it's too much. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Okay. Now we have to move on to Jax Taylor. All right. And I'm going to try to get through this quicker than that. Hopefully. Yes. Watch my recaps on Sandoval and you will get everything you need. Everything you need, you guys. And it's all there in a, somewhat chaotic, fun package. All right. Jax Taylor, let's talk about it. Jax, we have the new episode of The Valley. They haven't given us a premiere date yet, but season 2 of The Valley on Bravo is going to be coming at us soon, they've told us. And Jax was just on yet another episode of Bravo's Hot Mic with the host and producer of Vanderpump Rules, who, we have some opinions on, Alex Baskin-Robbins. Jax was on an episode of Bravo's Hot Mic not too long ago. And then now he's back. And the last episode was a mess. And now he's back again. And this is the first time that Jax has went public saying that he is an addict, which obviously we know as Bravo fans, we've watched Jax navigate through Vanderpump Rules until he was fired from Vanderpump Rules, ultimately to come back to be on The Valley. We watched him on House of Villains. We've watched him move on social media, and like everyone is like, oh, wow, no. We knew there was an issue there, but he has now for the first time himself said that he is dealing with an addiction to cocaine. And there's been a lot of talk of the Coca-Cola Classic. If I had a nickel for everybody who slid in my DMs to tell me this rumor about Jax Taylor, I'd have quite a few, nickels. So, it's good that he's on this. What the hell's going on with this? I want to get it to, okay. I want to get this large screen. Okay. Let's zoom in a little bit. So it's no surprise to us. Jax's behavior, again, toward women has been abhorrent. He is someone who pretended to change. Jax is the type of person that will tell you he's changed and he hasn't. Jax is A1 grade A manipulator. The difference between him and Sandoval is Jax will do that thing where he goes, I am an asshole. Yeah. And I do need to get help and I'm going to get help, but then continue to have the same behavior. But thinking because he said it, even though he doesn't mean it, where Sandoval won't even say it. To him, he's like, he's a hero in his own story. He's like, oh no, I am not a manipulator. Like that is, no, I'm a good person. And you're like, well, you're not treating people like you're a good person. Where Jax will pretend to have self-awareness. Sandoval just is null and void even of pretend self-awareness. Okay. So this isn't our first rodeo with Jax being like, it's always that, like Evelyn saying, I'm working on myself. He's always working on himself. But again, similar to Sandoval, he is, 90 years old. And it's like, how long are we going to be working on ourselves when we don't see any work happening? So a lot of people are going to be out there being like, hey, you guys, be kind to him because he's figuring stuff out. Well, Jax has figured out stuff for a long time. And I don't think it's totally bad to be a little critical and to look at this with a critical eye and critical thinking and go, well, does he mean it this time? And to question his motivation, because I think, when you have a history of lying to the public in order to get out of, bad behavior, and you have a history of mistreating women, and you have a history of lying, it's going to take a while. It's not just, that's the thing with sobriety too. You don't just go, I'm sober now, everything's cool. No, there are amends that need to be made. There is time, and your actions prove if change has really occurred. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and do that. But it's okay if people are a little skeptical. I'm not of the belief that everyone has to just go, don't say anything. Don't at all. He said he has a problem. No, I think you do have to hold people accountable. And I think it's okay to go at this with a critical, skeptical eye when someone has time and time again said and pretended that they were on the path to wellness and awareness while still hurting people. So that's just my opinion. But I know you will see a lot of people. I've already seen the posts, you guys. You guys, everybody just seriously just be nice to him. Well, you can still be nice, but also be critical and protect your own energy and be like, we'll see. Good luck. Great. I hope you are on a path to sobriety. But I got this. We've heard this before. We've heard these people use sobriety and use addiction as a way to absolve themselves of behavior and as a way to, Jax has a season. You gotta follow. I question, because he has a season coming up of the Valley where allegedly reports are we're going to see some really bad behavior from him. So is he trying to get ahead of this and this bad behavior so he can go, oh, yeah, but remember I was doing the cocaine. It was the cocaine. It's more than the cocaine. Okay. It's a person. Okay. Dreadful Ruby says, we don't need to enable terrible behavior by treating him with kid gloves. No, he's 93 years old. Okay. Amy says, all I know about Jax is what I learned when he was on House of Villains. And that was very short-lived. You're very lucky. Rebecca says, Jax acts like his behavior is some incurable illness. Yes. And we should have pity for him. I think the worst thing you can do is pity these men because it enables them. I think holding people accountable and being like, all right, be the change, do it, show us, let's go. You want this public life? You want to make money in this way? You can't expect people to keep supporting you while we're watching you hurt people and especially hurt women. No. So, all right, show us. No, so much talky, more doy. Okay, so let's take a listen. I did speed it up to 1.25 and I'll be pausing for some commentary, but we're going to listen to quite a bit of it here.
And I'm here with Jax Taylor, and this is the third time that you've been on this podcast, and each of them has been very different. You were just on a few months ago, and you wanted to come on today because there's something that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so really, I've been waiting for a long time to do this. I'm nervous, and I felt like, this was the time to do it. We have season 2 of The Valley coming out shortly, and I feel like sometimes because there's so many cast members that the whole story of each person is not told, fully. And I kind of wanted to come out and kind of talk about the struggles that I've been going through for a very, very long time. And I kind of wanted everyone to know, this is what happened. I'm kind of coming. This is tough to say. So I am coming out that I'm an addict. I have substance issues, primarily with cocaine. That's hard to say out loud. I've been dealing with this for, I think, the last, on and off since I was 23. So I'm 45. So give or take, I've been, there's times where I would stop doing it, but then there was times where I'd go heavy on it. I think a lot of people who watched Vanderpump Rules over the years could kind of tell that I was on something. Obviously production and people, they didn't know what I was doing. Everything I was doing is on my own, but I was just,
right away. Production didn't know, don't fire me again. That's basically, don't fire me again. Please. Everybody knew You can't tell me production didn't know you were hyped up on something. If the general audience could figure it out, like Coley's saying, being coked the F up, please. There was remember when it was Jax and Brittany's wedding episode and people were speculating and zooming in on the table within that castle or whatever where the groomsmen were, and there was a white substance on the table while the cameras were there. But yeah, okay. It was all about the pasta. They literally talked about the pasta on Vanderpump Rules. But okay. Evelyn's saying, yeah, damage control. Mm-hmm.
On that train, and I couldn't get off. And then people ask, do you have an alcohol problem too? I don't necessarily think I have an alcohol problem, but the two go hand in hand. So I can't do cocaine without drinking. So I just gave up both. And I'm proud to say I'm 83 days sober right now, which is the longest I've ever gone in my life without either. So, not my life without either. I'm sorry. This is the longest I've gone since I was 21 without, or just going this long without anything. And I gotta say, it feels really, really good. But again, I just want to let people know, like, this is a really, really tough disease, and it's a really tough sickness, and it's I've been doing it for so long, and you can say hiding it, not necessarily hiding it, lying about it, forever. And I just had enough's enough. I mean, this year was probably the hardest year of my life. I would say my father's death was the hardest year until this year. I'm going through a divorce right now, which is extremely difficult. And that's when Brittany and I separated. That's when the addiction got worse. Now, I was always been doing it for a long time, but the addiction got worse during my divorce, during my separation. I literally lost control. I think at a point hit rock bottom, and I had to go to rehab. That's kind of where we're at right now. And then I got out, obviously, here we are. But yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, we'll get into more. Yeah. But I just want to stop there for a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, right. No,
that was a lot. I've never said this in my life. So to come out and say that I have an addiction, that I have a sickness that I have to work on the rest of my life is a really big deal for me. Obviously, I think if people know that there's something out, but for me to say that come out of my mouth it's a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. Huge.
Good. And I know that you've wanted to be able to say this, but I know that you've also struggled saying it out loud.
Yeah. Because I didn't think anybody would I think I would just say it and then I wouldn't really work on it. I think I've worked really, really hard on my sobriety. It didn't happen the first time. It, happened the second time. What I mean by that is I had to go to rehab twice, and we'll get into that later. Yeah. But yeah, it's just a sickness. It's a disease, and it's something that I have to work on for the rest of my life, unfortunately.
I want to focus to begin with on the second rehab stint, and we'll get into the first as well. What prompted you to get help the second time?
I got a lot out of it the first time. And then when I was out, I was like, okay, I can get this. There was an incident. Brittany and I were actually on the way to a doctor's appointment.
Ding, ding, ding. There was an incident that we're going to see on camera. So Alex Baskin-Robbins is like, come on in. Let's talk about it. They want to get ahead of it. It's hard not to be like, are you just trying to get ahead of what we're going to see on the upcoming season and your bad behavior? And previously he had went and to this rehab and said it was mental health treatment. And he was saying he was diagnosed bipolar 2. And we were like, okay, but what about the drugs and alcohol? And he wasn't talking about that. It was just the mental health. So there was to blame bipolar 2. And now we're talking about the cocaine. Oh, geez. All right, let's keep going. So there's an incident we're going to see. And would he have talked about it? Would he have gotten he did say this is rock bottom. Would he have done anything if it's interesting. I mean, we'll never know if he would have done this or allegedly gotten sober. If there wasn't something that was on camera that was about to be shown.
And her phone was connected to my car, and a man's name came up, and it just triggered me. I did slip after the first incident, and I did, Brittany
and we'll get into the first as well. What prompted you to get help?
Yes,
the second time?
Dale.
I got a lot out of it the first time, and then when I was out, I was like, okay, I can get this. There was an incident. Brittany and I were actually on their way to a doctor's appointment for our son, and her phone was connected to my car, and a man's name came up, and it just triggered me. I did slip after the first incident, and I did take substance the night before. And the next day is always the worst when you're after this. The next day is the worst. I lost it. I went crazy in the car, yelling. And the worst part about all of this, and this is why I checked myself in, is that my son was in the back seat. And that's when I knew, I'm like, shit, I have a problem. It's still there. It's still there. Like, I was very aware. I was yelling, and then I turned my head, and I see my son back there, I'm just like, this was just utter disgust. And Brittany was like, you need to go back. And I didn't even put up a fight. Like the first time I kind of put up a little bit of a fight. This one I was like, you're right. I didn't put up a fight. I'm like, I gotta go back.
And then Brittany reached out to a few people, including Lori, your publicist, Ryan, your manager, and me. We talked about the incident. You agreed to go, and this was over the holidays, right? So it was a very dark time for you.
I got out. Yeah, it was a very, very dark time. Yeah. I mean, again, worst year of my life. I can't even tell you. I got out. I didn't stay the full time. I ended up staying 17 days. I felt like, for me, that was enough. I was like, you know what? Another 14 is not going to do anything. I know that I'm good. I'm okay. I just needed to get back and be like, okay, for a second. I just needed to like, okay.
Wait, what? Okay.
I was like, you know what? Another 14 is not going to do anything. I know that again, worst year of my life. I can't even tell you. I got out. I didn't stay the full time. I ended up staying 17 days. I felt like, for me, that was enough. I was like, you know what? Another 14 is not going to do anything.
That's not good. It's never good when someone, either you've been through it yourself, you've been through it with family, or you watched enough intervention to know when an addict decides to leave against the orders of the treatment facility or their doctors. Are like, that's enough. I did good. 14's good. That's never a good sign. That he was just like, I'm good. Let's leave.
I know that I'm good. I'm okay. I just needed to get back and be like, okay, for a second. I just needed to like, okay, remember why you were here the first time. You're back here for a second. Regroup and then get back out there. And I felt when I hit the 17th day, I'm like, you know what? I'm here. I'm done. I won't do it again. You won't touch. I'm done. I made a mistake, and I felt like it was the right decision for me at the time to leave right then. I was there on my own. I wasn't forced to be there. But I felt myself that I was ready to go.
I want to touch on a few things there. So first is when you got the diagnosis. So when you were told at the facility, look, this is like, did you know going in that you were going in for addiction? Did you think you were going in for behavior? Because all of it. I was going to get to the bottom of it. Now, when myself and my manager and Lori, we all kind of came together and researched where I was going to go. I have such a great team. And we say, listen, this is the best place for you because it kind of talks about everything: mental health, substance abuse, drug addiction, all that stuff. You're going to get everything out of this. And that's kind of what I needed, because I personally don't think that drugs and alcohol are the problem for anybody. There's issues there that there's issues with their lives, and then people use to kind of mask the issues that they're going through. I'm a firm believer in drugs and alcohol are never the problem. People just don't fix their problems. So they're too lazy, and then they use drugs and alcohol to mask their issues instead of fixing things. And that's what's the problem. So
They're too lazy. The judgment of this guy who's allegedly newly sober. You know, people just, they're too lazy. Just, you can say you too lazy. You can't speak for all these people.
Therapy the first time, 30 days. 7 hours of therapy a day for 6 days a week. I mean, it's intense. And then you see doctors, and then you go to therapy, and then you go to personal therapy, then you go to group therapy, then you break for lunch, then you go for a walk, and then they allow you to go to the gym once a day, and there's a nurse that follows you to the gym. Like, this was just utterly embarrassing for me, because I'm going to Crunch Gym, which is a very big gym, and people know who I am, and they're kind of looking at me, but they also see this nurse walking next to me. So it was like, it was tough. It was very, very, it broke me down. I got a lot out of it. Yes, I did slip when I got out the first time, but I learned so much the first time. It was my fault.
Well, you weren't sober the first time, right?
The first time I went through, I stayed sober for, I think, like a week or two after. Yeah. And then I started slowly going back into the game.
Okay. All right. Okay. This is just very sus. I'm sorry. It just is.
And I thought, okay, I can handle this. I can handle it now. I got a grip on it.
Because you were really at the time grappling with the bipolar diagnosis.
So get into that. So,
and I think that's like, you're more worried about how you look and being embarrassed by a nurse going to the gym with you, because people know you at the gym. There's still like so much ego. And that's, in addiction, like breaking down that ego is real important. And we're, 82 days, or whatever he said, 80 some days. And we're still talking about, I mean, it takes time. It's a process for sure. But we're still talking about, a lot of people know me. I was embarrassed.
Like a week or two after. Yeah. And then I started slowly going back into the game again. And I thought, okay, I can handle this. I can handle it now. I got a grip on it.
Because you were really at the time grappling with the bipolar diagnosis.
So we'll get into that. So
yeah.
When I went in, I've always known something is wrong with me. I'm a very stubborn guy. I don't go to the doctor. I'm like my dad. I don't go to the doctor unless my arm's falling off. I'll just put some bleach on it. I refuse to go to the doctor for anything. I refuse to accept anything. I'm one of those guys, like, if I have cancer, don't tell me. Like, I don't want to know. And for years, I've known, everybody's told me, Jack, something's fucking wrong with you. You're not all there, And you know, when my marriage was getting, it's been tough a lot, but when my marriage was getting really bad towards the last 3 years, Brittany's like, you need to go get some help. You need to figure out what is wrong with you. And, you know, just to kind of get her off my back, I went to a physician, not somebody who is studied in.
Yeah, it's just classic. Just to get her off my back. Just get her off. Just get this bitch off my back. This is your wife at the time, the mother of your child. Just get her off my back.
I just went to my family physician. I go, listen, my wife thinks I'm depressed. I am a little bit depressed. Can I have some medication for it? Sure. She just gave it to me. There was no diagnosis. I just I self-diagnosed myself. I'm like, something's got to be wrong with it. I'm probably just depressed, which is true. I was very sad. A lot happened. COVID, pregnant. I lost my job. A lot was going on during the time of me going to see that doctor. I lost my job, going through COVID. And I didn't know what to do for money. My wife was pregnant. I was fucking depressed. And so in my head, I'm like, that's it. I'm depressed. Doctor, give me something for depression. Oh, here's some Lexapro. Went on Lexapro, didn't do anything. And this was all going on. I was taking it before I was going into rehab. And then when I went into the facility and they broke me down, the doctors were like, let's go over your symptoms. I'm sitting there, symptoms. They're like, you're not depressed. You're bipolar. They're like, what are you on right now? I'm like, I'm on Lexapro and it's making me even angrier. They're like, you need to get off that. That's not for you. We have something for you. You're definitely bipolar to a T. Bipolar 2, it's called. And you definitely suffer from,
Yes, bipolar 2, mood disorder. Familiar with it. Reality with Krista Marie says, just him. Yeah, saying that addicts are lazy. It's just like, are you listening? Are you learning? And I think Sandy makes a wonderful point. Like, maybe it's time to be real with yourself and strip it down and be Jason Coochie, whatever your last name is, instead of Jax. Like, that was the Jax character on Vanderpump Rules. That's the guy that cheats on his girlfriend, his wife, everyone he's with, lies, cheats, steals, and then not in a game of Traitors, but in real life, and has sex with people in the bathroom while he's supposed to be working and does the cocaña, so maybe that now we just look at Jason, the real guy.
That's compulsive disorder.
But I honestly don't know if he knows who he is after this many years in LA and this, many years in the business and this many years under the influence. I bet he doesn't really even know who he is.
To a T, bipolar 2, it's called. And you definitely suffer from, obsessive compulsive disorder, which I do. So we're going to get you on new medication. And I got to say, since for the first time in my 45 years of life, because I have severe anger issues too, severe.
We know.
To the point where I literally have no patience for anything or anyone, and I don't like people. And if things aren't going my way, I'm going to get pissed off. It's just the way I was. I've been like that forever. And I've done it with my friends, my family, everyone. I fly off the handle. So for the first time finally getting on this medication, I was like, it took a week or two to get in, but I was in the facility, so I had no reason to get mad. But I was like, wow, I just let things roll off my back. I've never in my life just let things roll off my back. So for the first time finally getting on this medication, but I was like, wow, I just let things roll off my back. I've never in my life just.
All right. That's Heather. Great question. How does he know 14 days in treatment was enough? He's not a professional. That's his ego talking. That's his addictive brain talking. That is him being like, I know better than everyone else, and I know what's good for me, and I know what's going on. And everyone who uses this to deal with whatever they're dealing with, they're just doing that because they're lazy. That's the addict brain at work right there. And I feel like it's still trying to manipulate us.
Let things roll off my back. Be okay with certain things not going my way. Usually when things don't go my way, I get really angry and I take it out on my friends or my family. The anger issues that I have was insane. Before I was on the medication, and the reason I would take it out on Brittany is unfortunately she's the one I come home to at night, right? So during the day, I would leave, drive through the day. If I go to the grocery store, somebody pissed me off at the grocery store, somebody pissed me off at the DMV, somebody cut me off, right? Instead of solving those problems in the moment and being okay with it, I would store all this anger up throughout the day. And then guess what? I go home for dinner, and who's in my target line? Brittany. She didn't do anything. I'm just so angry with my anger issues that I would just take it out on her. And it was not fair. And I knew what I was doing. Now, mind you, that the drugs were affecting me too at the same time, and that people don't know with cocaine, the next day is the worst. You feel like absolute shit. You feel at the bottom of the barrel. You have zero serotonin. You are just angry and depressed. Anybody who's done cocaine will tell you that the next day is brutal. It's weird why we do it for 2 hours of fun, and the next 48 hours is misery. But we do it. And unfortunately, and the only time that Brittany and I really have ever gotten angry is the next day after a bender for me. That's the only time I've ever had a shouting match. I've never done a sober shouting match with Brittany ever. But unfortunately, I was doing drugs so much that it was a lot.
Right. And that you're
well, I would say, yeah, he probably hasn't had a shouting match with Brittany, a sober shouting match, because he hasn't admittedly himself been sober. He's always been under the influence of something, which is really sad to know that Brittany's entire marriage, she's been with someone who's, under the influence. It's a hard realization to come to for, family members of, addicts and people who love addicts, obviously. But it is crazy how he turned last season into pointing out Brittany's addiction and making her into like this horrible, alcoholic mom. And I don't know where Brittany stands on if she considers drinking an issue for her or not. But he really put his wife out there like she's a whole ass drunk while he was doing this and was on cocaine and drunk all the time, was always using, and I feel like with Jax, we've been on this ride with him for a long time and we never know what to believe. You hope for the best. You hope he's seen the light and he's going to get sober, but then he talks and you're like, I don't know about this. So it's important, I think, obviously, yes, empathy, but just like what I talked about in the beginning, but also don't let him, manipulate you to the point. Like, I think looking at him with a little bit of, healthy skepticism, looking at him, with a critical eye, a healthy critical eye. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And obviously we know not everyone's perfect. And I myself, as someone who is now sober, get it. But I also read through bullshit too. And Jax has given us a lot of bullshit and he's hurt a lot of people in the process. And just admitting that you have a problem and that you are an addict does not absolve you of that. Your consequences don't go away. The actions that the hurt you've placed on other people doesn't go away. So, and it seems like Jax just wants this quick fix. Yep, I'm an addict, and yep, then I got a season coming up, and if I think if he really, wanted to focus on this sobriety, the best thing to do would be to take a break from all of this and this limelight. Now, he would probably argue, that's my living. I'm doing Tom Sandoval's voice for that, but he would probably argue like, this is how I make my money. So
we turn into outright anger.
So I already have anger issues without the cocaine. Then you throw cocaine on there. Then you throw alcohol on there. Then you throw Lexapro on there. This was a fucking recipe for disaster. Like all these things, like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what was going on. Taking all that shit, it was not doing well.
Okay, so you have the 30-day stay, right? The first time around, right, which is over the summer. You get out, you have a diagnosis. That helps you because you at least what you're dealing with. You're on medication. What led to then the second stay? We talked about the blow up, but what were the conditions of that?
The second stay?
Yeah.
The conditions, they let me kind of do it my way the first day. Like they say, listen, with the facility, and this is a California law, people kept asking me, how come you're allowed to have your phones in the facility? And people were very shocked that I can have, they're like, it's a state law that they're not allowed, because everyone's like, why are you allowed to have your phone? Yeah. It's a state California law. You are not allowed to take away a person's phone. You're not. So obviously my team, they knew off the beginning, the first time, they were like, he should not be having his phone. He should not be having his phone. And they're like, there's nothing we can do. It's the law. So after the first 3 days, they took it away. Then they gave it to me after that. And that was, I think the problem is I wasn't fully invested the first time. I felt like, you know what? I can get through this. Let's just buy the time, whatever. Yeah. Let's just make people happy. Please, everybody. I'll get what I have to say out of here and get the fuck out of here. Like, I just wasn't taking it seriously. I should have never used my phone. I should have put my phone away, and I'm paying all this money to be here. Let's get something out of it. Let's use this fucking place and learn about yourself and try to figure out what the fuck is wrong with you.
And when you got out too, this will be on the show this season,
right?
You were repeatedly saying when you were asked about what your takeaway was from being there, I'm not an addict. My drug of choice is anger.
I didn't think at that time that I was an addict. Now, it's one of those things like if you hear any other addict, right? I'm not the problem, you are. I'm not the problem, you are. I blame everybody else but myself. That's a token addict move. So when I got out, I'm like, I got a hold of this. I'm strong, man. Okay, good. I'll stop. And then a week went by, and then I'm like, oh, okay, one drink's not going to do anything, right? And like the drinking wasn't the problem. I have 2 drinks and I'm good. But after that 2 drinks, I'm looking for a bag of cocaine.
Yeah.
So that's why people say, well, if drinking's not the problem, then why? But both go hand in hand. So I had to stop. But so to get back to the stay.
Him saying that drinking's not the problem makes me think that he's going to try to drink. Him saying, well, yeah, I know it goes hand in hand, but I'm not really addicted to alcohol.
Why I took the second stay a little bit differently is because Lori and I, okay, now we're going to do it my way. We did it your way the first time. Clearly, that didn't fucking work. We're going to do it our way this time. We're going to talk to the therapist every day. You're going to have our phone numbers. You're not going to be on your phone. You're going to be doing this. You're going to do it our way. Like, you know, so yeah. I think the second time they were kind of like, okay, it's our turn now to tell you how this is going to go.
Why not stay the full time? Why leave after 17 days? I felt like to be honest, I could have left sooner, but I just felt like the second time around I was in there and I'm like, okay. I needed a little bit of I felt it's like I learned to ride a bike, you know, and I was doing good. And then I fell and I needed a little bit of,
I needed to go back just to be like, maybe a little bit of a humble pie, maybe a piece of like, okay, listen, this problem, this addiction, this sickness is bigger than you think it is. I know you think you're a man and you can control it all and you're this, but you can't. This is why you're back here, because this drug is bigger than you are and you need to take it seriously and you need to not half-ass it. And I was like, you're right. And I dug deep and I took over like the groups in therapy. I tried to be a mentor to some people and I loved it the second time. I was really a little bit more into it because I was a little bit more like, man, I was just fucking here. It was embarrassing. But then I used it. I'm like, I just left this place literally a month ago and I'm already fucking back. It's embarrassing. Yeah. But I used that as a, like, even somebody like me.
It's interesting again that he brings up embarrassing quite a bit. He's really worried about this embarrassment, this shame. And there is a lot of shame as an addict that comes with you in the shame of your behavior and stuff. But it's not a shame. For me, it was a different kind of shame. It was like, I'm ashamed that I did that. I'm ashamed that I put people in those situations. I'm ashamed that people had to care for me. I'm ashamed that I could have really hurt myself or hurt someone else. Like, I'm ashamed of that. But it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Like, people are going to see me as a drunk. I was like, no, because most people probably already knew I was a drunk. So it's interesting. It's very different from how I felt. I know not all addicts are the same, but.
Who on paper has it all. I do. I'm very fortunate. I have a healthy child. I have a healthy wife. I had a house. I have everything going. And I still found a way to fuck it up. And I think that was important because most people that are in rehab don't have anything to lose. I had a lot to lose. Yeah. So people were looking up to me like, wow.
That's not true. That's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. Everyone has something to lose in that situation, or they've lost a lot. What did he go to like the, I don't, okay. I'm going to stop asking so many questions.
Guys got it all. What the fuck is he doing? We don't have anything. We're doing this. We get it, So I think people were liking that a little bit.
What have you done since you left to maintain your sobriety? Because obviously, as the cliche goes, for a reason, one day at a time.
It is extremely one day at a time. It is. It's the big thing here is my son.
That's the ego. The ego is the fucking villain to sobriety. Your ego. And that's what I hear so much in this. And I know it's allegedly early in his sobriety, but I took over and I became a mentor. And once I could take action and once I could be the leader and I had so much to lose and these people didn't, it's him putting himself higher than other people. I feel like Carolyn higher than that's ridiculous, Jax. Okay, girl, like you're putting yourself above to feel above them, to feel like you have more to lose. There are more stakes, to feel as though you're you can't mentor anybody this early in your sobriety. That's ridiculous. Anyone will tell you that. And the people that want to mentor this early in their sobriety, that's a red flag. This is fucked.
He's my number one driver for this. Like I said, I can't do it anymore. It's I'm 45 years old. Like, there's got to be a point where you're like, dude, enough's enough. You had your fun. You had a good time. You didn't. You're still alive. Yeah. It's time to get out while you're ahead, basically. And I said, listen, obviously, I'm not the type of person who can have one drink and be okay. It's just not in my cards. I had to stop. I was going to lose, custody. I'm embarrassing my I guess you can call my ex-wife. I'm embarrassing myself. Nobody's looking at me seriously. They're like, oh, just here he goes again. So, and I want to do it for myself. Like, I can kick this. I can do it. Is it hard sometimes? Yes. But I think how I look at it is the next day. How am I going to feel the next day? How am I going to feel the next day? Like, for instance, there was an event at my bar last night and people are always like, we don't want to drink around you. I'm like, no, please drink around me. I don't want people to walk on eggshells around me and be like, oh, we don't want to drink, because I used to make fun of the guys that were like me. And now I want people to enjoy, have fun. I have to get used to that. And if people just walk around on eggshells, no one's going to want to hang out with me. It's like, oh, I don't want to bring the sober guy. He kind of is a Debbie Downer. And I'm not. I still have fun. I just switch over to...
What adult thinks that? That's such a weird thing. Such a Debbie Downer. You know who thinks that? Addicts. Because people that have healthy relationships with alcohol are never going to be, they're never going to feel intimidated by people who don't drink. Because when you're an addict, being around someone, even if it's like subconscious, being around someone who could possibly judge you, that's terrifying. Being around someone who's completely sober, you're like, what? You want everyone around you to kind of be as drunk as you, be as effed up as you. You don't want sober people there with any kind of clarity, because that almost feels right out the gate like a judgment. That feels like they're going to sniff you out, whether you're aware of that consciously or subconsciously. So the fact that he is talking like that, like people who have healthy relationships with alcohol, they don't think like that. They're like, oh, you don't drink, big deal. But other addicts, people who don't want you to see them high or under the influence, they would think that way. Oh God, why did he even do this fucking interview? It has to just be, this is too early in your sobriety to be talking about this. You don't really know what you're talking about. It sounds ridiculous. You've lied so many times. And now we have freaking, it just seems like a damage control before the season because of this incident that happened in the car in front of your son and to your soon to be ex-wife.
Celsius now, and that's about it. All right, I have a cup of coffee, but yeah, I don't mind people drinking in front of me. It hasn't bothered me, and I'm still doing events and I still do appearances and like that. But I'm very regimented now. Like I go do my appearances and I'll take some pictures with people after, and I go right to my hotel. As before, I would wander around, end up meeting fans at a bar, drinking 25 shots, doing shots with every table. That's no more.
Right, which leads to nothing good.
Nothing good, and it's a catastrophe. Like I'm just a people pleaser, and I just want to make sure everybody has a good time. And I'm like, okay, I'll do a shot. But it's caused my mental health to.
I did think that was a little sus when I heard it. Into the Light says, I might be wrong, but if you're sober, don't you know the exact day or how long you've been sober? I'm to the point now, though, where I know that it's April 1st, 2012 is my sobriety date. When people are like, how many years is that? I'm like, oh, shit, I don't remember. Like, I'll forget. But that could just be perimenopause. So I don't think everyone, again, there's not a one-stop shop for sobriety. I think Jax would probably benefit from like a traditional 12-step program because I think there's so much in his head and his ego and his way of thinking that needs to be, rethought. But it isn't necessarily for everyone. So I don't think everyone has to go that route. Not everyone has to do 12 steps. Everyone has to do AA. There are different ways. But Jax, I think he would probably benefit from something like that. But it is a little sus this early on, not knowing how many days you've been sober. A little, I guess.
Nothing good. It's a catastrophe. Like I'm just a people pleaser, and I just want to make sure everybody has a good time. And I'm like, okay, I'll do a shot. But it's caused my mental health to be fucked.
Tell me about what coming out with this means in terms of accountability, because obviously there's no hiding. There's going to be a lot of scrutiny when you do go to bars going forward, which you do regularly because you own one,
right,
you have the business, and also you make a lot of appearances.
Right.
All eyes will be on you. What does that mean to you?
I kind of turned this appearance thing around about not only part of the show, we like to answer questions about the show and all that, but I've kind of turned it into mental health and sobriety. I talk about it now a lot. Instead of talking about, tea and everything going on, I kind of turn around and be like, I was struggling during this time. I've been on substance and this is how I got around it. So I'm using now these appearances. It's almost like I'm doing a lecture, I'm turning it around instead of gossiping about Sheena Lala or Kristen or whatever. I'm kind of like, hey, I'm turning it like, this is what I was going through. I was struggling.
That's always a red flag for me when someone early in their sobriety wants to again, like I said, coach, like I'm gonna have a lecture. I'm gonna talk about it. Blah, 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 rather than listen. Okay. All right.
I'm using this as therapy for me. I feel like this is what I was meant to do. And I love talking about it. I love kind of being vulnerable about it. I've never in my life until right now, until today, have been completely honest with my sobriety or with my addiction. Never. I always leave things out. Like, I never give you the full story. This is the full story. And I'm really happy about it. I'm really excited about it. But it's still I'm very new in the sobriety thing. I'm 83 days sober right now, something like that. And it's going to take a lot of work.
What work are you doing to ensure your continued sobriety?
Right now, I'm going to therapy. I go to therapy once a week. Probably should be going a little bit more. I'm going to be getting ready to do. I think I'm going to start trying to do a little bit of outpatient. I'm okay right now, but I need to maybe double up a little bit and do a little bit of outpatient. I check in with a therapist once a week. I go to therapy on Mondays. I'm drug tested every week, and that's something that I chose to do. I'm the one that chose to do that, and I'm also. I want the results, which is a big HIPAA law on certain these kind of things. But I said, you know what? I need to be held accountable. I want to be drug tested every Monday. I want you to text my ex-wife every Monday with the results. I want you to text my team every Monday with the results. And they're like, are you sure you want to do this? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I will be here every 9:00 every Monday morning and I'll be testing. Because it makes me feel better. It makes me so like if I have this idea to slip, I'll be like, I'm going to be tested on Monday. I'm going to lose my job.
It's accountability.
Yeah. If I didn't have this accountability.
So what is he doing? It's like I'm drug tested every day and I'm going to therapy and I think I might do a little bit of outpatient. What does that mean? I go to therapy once a week. I probably should go more, but I go to therapy. So he says, right now I'm going to therapy. I go to therapy once a week. Probably should be going a little bit more. I'm going to be getting ready to I think I'm going to start trying to do a little bit of outpatient. I'm okay right now. Okay. I need to maybe double up like a little bit and have a little bit of outpatient. I check in with a therapist once a week. I go to therapy on Mondays. Okay. I get drug tested every week. And that's something that I chose to do. I was like, drug test, right? I'm the one that chose to do that. And I'm also, I want the results. What's the results? It's literally a lifestyle and every day, and you're going to be sober the rest of your life. Like that's what you're working towards, is every day, minute by minute, hour by hour. What's the results? Okay. Which is a big HIPAA law on certain these kind of what? Okay.
I'm the one that chose to do that. And I'm also, I want the results, which is it's a big HIPAA law on certain these kind of things. But I said, you know what? I need to be held accountable. I want to be drug tested every Monday. I want you to text my ex-wife every Monday with the results. I want you to text my team every Monday with the results. And they're like, are you sure you want to do this? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I will be here every 9 o'clock every Monday morning, and I'll be testing. Because it makes me feel better. It makes me so, like, if I have this idea to slip, I'll be like, I'm going to be tested on Monday. I'm going to lose my job.
It's accountability.
It's accountability.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have this accountability, then I would slip. Again.
So he just said, so Kristen Reese said he's most likely not choosing this sobriety. I'm thinking he was going to lose his job. Oh. And he does mention that. He says, I'm going to be testing on Monday. You okay, buddy? I'm going to lose my job. It's accountability. It's accountability. Well, who told him he's going to lose his job? Did something happen? Was his job threatened? It's an interesting statement to make, right? And Krista called it, and there you go. And there it is.
I've said this many times. My whole life, I've been given wiggle room. My whole life, I've been put on a pedestal. I'll be here every 9 o'clock every Monday morning, and I'll be testing. Because it makes me feel better. It makes me so, like, if I have this idea to slip, I'll be like, I'm going to be tested on Monday. I'm going to lose my job.
It's accountability.
It's accountability.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have this accountability, then I would slip. Again, I said this many times. My whole life, I've been given wiggle room. My whole life, I've been put on a pedestal. I'm the golden child in my family. I've never been. It was always a slap on the wrist. I've never gotten in trouble for really anything. And people just would say, "Oh, it's Jax." I mean, over the years, "Oh, it's Jax. Oh, it's just Jax. Whatever."
Well, you're good at getting away with things.
He's telling us right here. Like, no one ever punished me. They're always like, you can get away with it. They let me do whatever I wanted. So guess what I did? I kept doing whatever I wanted, no matter if it hurt people, no matter if it hurt me, it didn't matter.
I got away with things, but this is something that I can't get away with anymore. I can't. It's going to kill me. It's not if, it's when.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone around you has been concerned about this for a while.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your relationship with Brittany.
Okay.
Obviously there's a
Let's talk about the relationship with your estranged wife, soon to be ex-wife. I don't even know if their divorce is finalized. I don't think so. Who you accused all last season of being an addict and trying to shame her and making her feel like shit. Let's talk about her. You remember her?
Loaded question. Where are you guys now?
I don't know. Did you talk to her today? Last night you did.
I did. Yeah.
We had a little bit of a blow up last night. I mean, she's probably laughing. It's daily. It changes. One day she's happy. One day she's mad. One day she's happy. One day she's mad. I never know what I'm going to get with her. I walk on eggshells.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens because she never knew what she was going to get with you. That's with addiction. Like, obviously you've already spelled it out for us that it was a nightmare to be married to you and your addiction. And that's that loss of control. And that's why children of addiction, whether it be functioning alcoholics, functioning addicts, to not functioning, we don't talk enough about like highly functioning addicts, and it still has the same effects on children because it's that fear that at any moment, that unpredictability that isn't healthy or safe when you're in a relationship or when you're a child or when you're the wife or the husband, that's not a safe spot to be, not knowing how that person is going to react because the addiction is so manic in itself. So I still see a lot of the blame going, I don't know how she's going to react. Well, of course, she doesn't know what she's going to get from you because it's been so unstable. And you've told us that you were drunk or high all the time. And you were really angry and you hated people and you took it out on her. You told us that. But yet now we're going, yeah, I mean, one day she's happy, one day she's mad. She's going through the feelings of being married and having to deal with you and knowing she got a kid with you for the rest of her life. Oh my God. But again, this is so like how these Vanderpump and Southern Charm dudes are. It's always the lady's fault. It's always the woman's fault. I mean, this bitch, right? But you just told us that you treat her like garbage. You shit on her. You take it out on her. You hate people. You were high on cocaine and alcohol all the time, yelling at her. You were super aggressive and angry and mean. But then you're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to get with her.
I had a little bit of a blow up last night. I mean, she's probably laughing. It's daily it changes. One day she's happy, one day she's mad, one day she's happy, one day she's mad. I never know what I'm going to get with her. I walk on eggshells constantly every day, as I should. I just want her to know that I'm really trying.
He throws that shit in there. This motherfucker ain't changed. I don't care. I don't care if that makes me sound like a bad person saying it. He's like, which I should. He just throws that in there to be like, don't worry, I'm going to say that. So just don't call me out on that. But he doesn't mean it. This is the same Jax, the same shit we've heard. He just has admitted that to his drugs of choice. God.
She's asked the rehab, the therapy, the drug testing, the getting help. I take care of my son as much as she allows me to. I am, I don't know what else she wants from me. I'm doing everything that she's asked for, and just because I respect her, and
I hate this. I hate everything about this interview. I hate everything he's saying. It's so clear that he is on. I don't even know what this is. I don't know what path this is. I know that it's not a healthy path. I know that it's a still blame everyone else path. I know that we're, again, lacking accountability. We might be saying the words and going through the motions, but really, no. Ugh. 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 This is damage control. We'll see if this dude really chooses a path to sobriety, but everything he's saying is no, this isn't, no. Ask another sober person what they think of this. Ask people in the chat who are sober. What do we call this? This is like a mocker. This is. Ugh. I feel so much for Cruz, the sweet little son. Yes, very much like, why isn't Brittany make? I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do again, Jax. You don't get to dictate how people react to your sobriety, to if you have made any amends, if you really have apologized, because I guarantee it, like the men's fucking warehouse, you are the same guy that's like, I said sorry, what do you want? Anyone that says, I don't know what more she wants. She wants you to be a fully evolved, sober human who is taking accountability and understands and is on a path to be a better father and a better person. And not be worried about these interviews, and not be worried about your stupid bar, and not be worried about your dumb appearances. That's what she wants. And that doesn't just change in 82 days. You don't get to say, well, I've done everything. No, you have not done everything. You have certainly not done everything. In 82 days, you certainly have not done everything you need to do. And how dare you even question anyone in your life, let alone your wife, who you self-admitted put through hell. How dare you question her and how she's reacting to your atrocious behavior? This is just no. Yes, sweet Cruz. I mean, ugh. Oh my God. Just Kelly says, I'm with you, Jolene. The drugs may be gone, but that's the thing. You can get rid of the drugs, you get rid of the substance, but it is the brain that you have to. There's so much that goes into the way you think and retraining your brain and just to get healthy. Reality with Kristen Marie says, as a fellow sober person, we don't want you yet, sir. You can't speak for us or coach us or mentor us or nothing us. Evelyn says, Jax is still lying until he's willing to surrender and start being honest. Yeah. Lazy Buddha says, I don't seem to be cynical. Anyone care? I don't seem to be cynical. Anyone care to be when he relapses again? Just Kelly says, understand that the apology is the beginning and not the end. Yeah. And Brittany, she might never forgive you. There are people in your life who what you've done, said to them, they might never forgive you. And that is something you live with. You make the amends. You do what you can do, but you do not then get to dictate their reaction. And you're not owed anything. The world, again, does not owe you dick, Jax. Oh my God. Yeah, Brittany would, oh my God, she would so benefit from Al-Anon, some form like that, or just intensive therapy with someone who specializes in addiction. Right? It takes yes, Trish, it took years to change your thing. I'm still a work in progress. There is no final result. I'm always progressing and hoping. There are still habits and things that I do that I have to check myself daily and go, oh, bitch, why are you doing that? Oh, why are you doing that? Oh, you know? So no, I didn't hear him apologize. Yeah, it's not like this happens and this happens and that happens. Everyone's, journey is different. And when he was talking about results and mentoring and I've done so much, what more does she want from me? Lazy was like, well, I hope you didn't have a stroke.
I don't want her to be like, well, you're not even trying. I'm going above and beyond to show her that I do care and I want to be in my son's life. And I also want to be in your life to some extent.
Yeah.
I want to be there for you. That's why I moved a mile away. I could move anywhere I want in Hollywood, right? But when I moved, I wanted to be a 5-minute drive in case.
Do you hear him? Do you hear the girls? Like, I could have done whatever I want, but I did this. I chose to do this. I could have, though. I didn't have to do the right. So you want fucking validation and praise because you did the right thing? You should want to be close to your son and close to your ex-wife and should want to have a good, healthy co-parenting relationship. That it's like the Chris Rock joke. What do you want, a cookie? Like what? That's just the adult thing to do. You don't get a cookie. You don't get praise for doing the bare minimum.
You needed me. I wanted to always be there for you, whether or not, you like me or not. You can always call me for anything. Even if when you start dating
Right,
me with somebody, I'll always still be there. I wanted her to see that. Yeah, we still have hiccups. I still do stuff that pisses her off. I'm not a perfect human being. I'm nowhere near it. So I'm still going to have, incidents where I make her mad. It will never be with drinking or drugs again. But what happened so you have this hose, right? And there's holes in it. I patched one hole with the drinking and the alcohol, but now another hole opened. So, and I'll get into that other hole in a second. Yeah. But to answer your first question, it's going day by day right now. It's going to take a lot of time. Anybody who's gone through a divorce knows that to kind of rekindle or patch a relationship up with your ex is very, very difficult. There's a lot of animosity. There's a lot of hurt, especially by me. There's a lot of things that have gone.
It's sped up to 1.25 to get through it. You okay, Dave? Yeah, it's sped up to 1.25.
I just want to get to a place where we're good. And I'm the type of person how can we fix this now? How can I fix this? I don't want time. And this is going to be one of those, there's a lot of things that have gone on. I just want to get to a place where we're good. And I'm the type of person how can we fix this now? How can I fix this? I don't want time. And this is going to be one of those things that takes time. And I'm just not, it's driving me crazy because I just want to fix the problem.
Yeah, I mean, she's been through a lot with you. And,
I think it's safe to say we kind of been through a lot with each other. Yes, I've got a lot of problems, a lot of issues, but.
No, never. And when I got sober, I had been with Chell for my now husband, my husband Chell, shout out to him, for a couple of years. So Chell has now known me longer as a sober person, which I am really proud of and happy that I didn't subject him to alcohol, using Jolene, under the influence Jolene. So I'm happy for that. But never say, well, we both, no, it's you focus on yourself. You clean up your own yard. You don't go, oh, well, no. So you're not taking accountability and you're not owning it and you're not living in it. And you clearly haven't hit a rock bottom at all because you wouldn't talk like this. You wouldn't say, but it's her too. You wouldn't fucking say that. It's not healthy to say. You wouldn't say it. As a sober person, I didn't say that. I didn't say, well, my parents, no. I said, Jolene's behavior, Jolene's actions, Jolene's drinking, Jolene's addiction. You wouldn't, no one's going to tell you to say that. No one. I would never say, well, Chell was I wouldn't even think that. I wouldn't say, no, he still wants to pass the buck and pass the blame. This is so ridiculous.
We haven't been getting along for a very, very long time.
Kelly. Thank you, Krista.
And it takes two to argue.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Oscar.
I think we just have been unhappy with our marriage for a long time. And I think we were just kind of sweeping it under the rug and not talking about why we're unhappy. We were just kind of going through the motions. And I think it really came to a head last season on the show. I think without even saying it is when we did the hotel stay and she brought up having another baby. And I was kind of like, I was more interested in talking about maybe we should even stay together. You're talking about having another child? I didn't say it with that, but I said it with my eyes more or less. I was just like, you're kidding me, right? And I look back at it now, gosh, what if we would have had another kid? I'm like, God, thank God, so, yeah, our relationship has been struggling for a very, very long time. And I am the type of person that I'm a self-sabotager, and instead of being a man and going and saying, listen, Brittany, I don't think this relationship is going where it needs to go. We need to end or whatever. Instead, I'm too much of a pussy in my head, and I'll just get angry and fight and make her leave me, so I don't have to do it. And that's what I did. I would constantly go out. I would constantly go on benders. I would constantly come home hungover or drunk or the next day and start a war hoping that she would leave me because I'm too much of an idiot. Or
Right. Then you wouldn't be the bad guy.
Then I wouldn't be the bad guy.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm the bad guy.
Of course.
So anyway,
Yeah.
regardless. But I've been like that with pretty much every girlfriend that I've had. I'll do something stupid so they break up with me. And that was the same situation.
Yeah. What do you want to say to her? What do you want her to know or understand? Maybe that she can't hear right now.
I think she knows that I am a good person down deep. I think down very, 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 very deep. I just think that I just want her to know that I do love her. I think she's an amazing person. I think she's a great mother. I just think our time is up. I will always be there for her, no matter what she says to me, no matter how much she wants to kill me, no matter anything, I will always be there because I know the next day she'll be okay. She's just angry in the moment. We had a great 10 years together. That's a decade. That's a long time in our world. And unfortunately, it had to come to an end. But I think we can beat the system. I think we can be like, you know what? We had a great 10 years. You're a piece of shit husband, but you're a great father, and you're always there for me. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, it seems like you guys have both arrived at the conclusion that you're better off not together. And it helps to know that because then when you guys are spending time together, you're not wondering what if.
Yeah, and it's like you're walking on eggshells with each other. I get that question asked a lot. It's like, what do you think you'll ever end up back with Brittany? And I'm like, unfortunately, no. It would be just a ticking time bomb for the next fight.
So you mentioned the garden hose analogy, and you said that the drugs and alcohol were two of the holes. You said there's something else. What's the other hole?
I'm a very insecure human being. Like I said, the hose was I patched the drugs and the alcohol. We put tape around it. We put a clamp on it. That's good. But now we have pressure from somewhere else, right? So now I'm trying to fill a void, and I'm looking for approval. I need approval from other people, females, right? I'm constantly seeking approval. I'm constantly looking for attention. I'm constantly making sure that I still got it, I guess, whatever you call it. I have a hard time just sitting in my own skin.
Is that just your insecurity that you need?
It's insecurity. It's everything. I mean, during my separation, when it was at the bottom of the barrel, and even currently now, like I would just text random girls, who the hell come over? Who's available? I'm just going to go down my roster. Just call anybody. I don't even care who they were. Who come over, telling them like things that I didn't mean to say, like just stuff that were like sexual, just the most absurd things that I would tell these people to get them to come over, to get them to hang out, to come over and basically just float my ego. And I would do that. And I got to fix that. That's a problem because I'm constantly looking for somebody to fill that void. Doesn't matter who it is, and it's become a problem. I got to fix that. I got to be careful. I got to figure out how to be comfortable in my own skin. And I'm having a hard time doing that. And like I said, I fixed this one huge problem, but I opened up another problem and I'm trying to.
You fix nothing. There's no fix yet. You've not fixed. There's no, like thinking like I fixed it. And that's why he's going to Brittany with a chip on his shoulder. Go, I fixed it. What? It's been 82 days. I haven't used cocaine. Yeah, I haven't fixed, the way I think, my life. I haven't, worked on my addict brain. But no, you've fixed nothing.
I guess I have to keep myself very busy. Because when I start getting in my head, that's when that should start to happening. I don't know what you want to call that. It's what kind of problem that is when you're constantly looking for approval from people. What would you call that?
I mean,
people like I'm constantly looking for approval from females.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't ask Baskin Robbins. He don't know.
Be honest, like it's disgusting. It's really disgusting when you think about it. You're like, why do you need to call all these people? And like, I was so hurt and angry. It got really bad when I found out that Brittany was hooking up with my friend Julian. Okay, 2 weeks after we separated. 2 weeks. So I knew in my head.
Sir, you were with people while you were married, while you were engaged, while you were with every woman you've ever been with. So the fact that she's 2 weeks out and she hooked up with your friend Julian, I wish you would have fucked him when you were married. You know what I mean? You need a taste of your own medicine. It's clear. You let us know. People let you get away with shit for too long. And again, we're bringing up Brittany and what Brittany did. And that should in no way indicate how you behave, how you should think. He's got to work on Jaxie because Jaxie was like this long before Brittany came along, but you still want to blame Brittany. Oh my God.
She's been definitely texting him prior because nobody hooks up with somebody that fast, especially a friend of mine.
No, you would think that because that's how you work because you're a cheater. So you think like a cheater. So you think everyone's thinking and doing and moving the way you're moving, but they're not.
So when I heard
this
that
fucking guy,
and that's was at my low. That's when I was doing all the drugs and drinking. Now
so it's Brittany's fault. That's where now who's as low because she was fucking his friend Julian, which I wish she would have fucked him like the whole time. He deserves that. Like, so again, you see how he's quickly. So the people are like, have some empathy for him. Fuck this dude. Fuck this dude. Seriously, the way he's behaving, the way he's acting, the mother of his child, the way he treats women. The way he so quickly wants to blame them again, it's Tom Sandoval. It's Tom Sandoval over again with the fake self-awareness that Jax is going to give us. But we're still talking about Brittany. And then I upped my drinking. No, sir. No, this was happening and upped long before Brittany. We know the stories. We watched it happen, whether it's on social media, whether people have met you in real life, whether people watch it on the show. Knock it off.
I was doing a little, I was probably doing it maybe a couple times a week. Now I upped it up to 3 to 4 times a week, right? And now I'm even more in my head.
Can you imagine how many times he's said this to Brittany too? Like, I'm an addict, but your behavior when you were fucking my friend, when I found out you were with him, then I upped it. I could have killed myself, and putting the blame on her. I guarantee it. Brittany, if you're ever watching, he's done that to you, hasn't he? He's done that to you and talked about how it got so worse because of your behavior. And again, blaming you. Guarantee it.
Every fucking girl I know, I am going to hurt her to the T. I'm going to literally sleep with whoever I can find. I didn't even think in my head. You know what didn't come to my head? It's scary. I'm a fucking father. Yeah. I'm a father. Why couldn't I just think, Jax, stop for a second. You're a dad. You can't do this. Like, you're a father. What is your son going to think? I didn't care. I was so into the drugs and the alcohol. And I was so upset that she hooked up with my friend, which is ironic because what have I done over the years? I hooked up with my friend's girlfriends too. You have a story.
It's not ironic. It's straight up hypocrisy. It's straight up wrong.
I have a story history. I can't be that angry about it, but it happened to me, so I'm fucking hurt.
And then you wanted her to feel the way that you did.
I wanted her to feel the way I did. Like I was like, okay, who can I call? Again, going through the list of girls, I'm just going to do whatever I want, whenever I want, with whoever I want. Careless, reckless, didn't care. I didn't care because, like I said, between the drugs, the alcohol, the anger, not being healthy, the lack of sleep, it was bad. It was like it's like one of those movies that you see where like the rock star's just off, you know. I just didn't have a care in the world. I was so defeated, you know, even though I wanted Brittany to leave me, like that was the whole goal. And then it happened. You're like, shit, yeah, this is not what I thought it was going to be like. You know, I'm not as happy as I thought I was going to be.
Well, you were still processing it too. And then
when it's your friend, like I can only imagine how Tom Sandoval felt when I did this. Like, you know, in my brain at those times, I just was like, why do you care? It was just like, I don't know.
He got over it.
He got over it, you know, like, and I did that to him. And let's be honest, I did it to Brittany too with Faith.
Yeah.
It was her friend.
Yeah.
So when I look back on it and people are like, how, you know, you did it too. I'm like, you're right. I did do it too. I did. That's why I can't be that angry, but I think it's my ego. My ego gets in the way of everything. Everything.
Well, and I think there's
So there's your problem, dumbass. It's your ego. Oh my God, this fucker.
It's between wanting her to leave you so that you didn't end the marriage and then also being hurt that she was moving on, especially when it's with your friend.
Yeah.
They're two different things.
There are two different things. I didn't necessarily think they were going to date or anything like that.
Yeah.
It just, you know, it hurt me because we were talking a couple months after we separated. We would still hang out.
After what you have put women through and done to women after all these years, I was hoping Brittany fucked your mom. Like, I hope she has sex with everyone in your family. It was like when Katie Maloney told Schwartz, like, if you don't respect this and you keep disrespecting me with this Rachel Raquel, whatever the hell's going on, whatever you guys are doing, which we found out was a front for the Tom Sandoval affair, you know, I will run a train through your business. I hope Brittany runs a train through his family. Like, that's what you deserve, sir.
She wasn't dating anybody, and I found out by looking at her phone. I saw that she was texting this guy, Julian, and then I found out from Brittany's friends that it was been going on for months, and that's when I was just like,
Brittany, find out who those friends were that told him of this and never talk to them again. Thank you.
I didn't even see it. Like, I got played at my own game. Like, I was like tasting my own medicine for the first time.
You got jaxed?
I got jaxed. That's the best way to put it right there. Yeah. I got jaxed. That's never happened to me before. I've never been on the other end of that. So I didn't know
I feel like Brittany's going to need so much therapy. Where'd my little Davy baby go? Let me take a quick commercial break. You guys will wrap it up soon. But I got to make sure my little Davy, I think he's like, I need to go potty. So we'll be right back after this commercial break. Smash the like. Feel free to sound off in the live chat. Be right back, guys.
Welcome to Goth Talk. I'm Cersei Nightshade.
And I'm Azrael Abyss, Prince of Sorrow.
Tonight, we're coming to you live from Suncoast High School. We're just down this hall. The pathetic day dwellers of the class of 1998 are celebrating the tawdry amusement known as the prom.
This is wrong.
What?
You. Doing my homework, it's wrong.
Well, I was just trying to help.
It's like I'm taking advantage of you or something.
You're not taking advantage of me. The square of the hypotenuse of a right triangle is equal to the sums of the square of the other two sides, baby!
It would be different if we were like... But now, we're just... You know... friend or whatever.
No time! There's never any time! I don't have time to study! I'll never get into Stanford!
can't do this anymore. It's okay.
You're right.
It's okay.
Everything will be okay.
Yeah.
I just need one of these.
Pills? You mean you really are taking drugs?
No, in a way it was wrong, but I just have a feeling that this is going to be really good.
I don't know.
So whoever's going to tutor you, their name is next to yours.
Brain Krakow?
Are you... Brain?
Brian.
I need them.
Jesse, give me those.
I need them back. I have to sing.
Jesse! You can't sing tonight.
Yes, I can. I'm so excited. I'm so scared.
So, anyway, The Odyssey is like this real long book, right? And
I don't believe this. I don't... You like do this? This is like how you live?
Yeah.
Dog parade. Hey guys, okay, we're back. I almost had it down, but I had to run up the stairs. I was like, oh God. Okay, let's keep going. All the dogs went TT, got a treat. Kitty's got a treat. We're back in business.
That's never happened to me.
Hi, Dave.
I've never been on the other end of that. So I didn't know how to handle it. So what do you do? Jump back into drugs and alcohol.
Well, you were in a bad state of mind. That is what immediately led to your first step in the facility.
Yeah. One night, I saw that message in her phone from another guy. Thank God my son was upstairs in his room. Thank fucking God. But I went crazy. And I was just like, how could this happen? And now in retrospect, I look back and I'm like, why were you so mad at this? You deserved it. But I was saw red. Mind you, I was doing drugs, drinking in those days at that time. I didn't care. I was angry. I mean, show me any guy that wouldn't be pissed off that his wife is hooking up with his friend. You know, this guy I brought into my circle, who I took care of, who I got a manager, who I introduced him to my friends. I took him under my wing. I took him to games and all this other stuff.
You don't get to say when you are disrespecting your wife, you've cheated on her multiple times. You don't get to say. Jax also needs to work on the freaking toxic masculinity that he's got going on. He's like, I'm a man. Tell me any guy. He really is obsessed with this idea that he's a man. He's doing man stuff. It's like, you're not doing any man stuff. Real men don't act like this. Sorry.
Coming to my bar. He was hooking up with her and still coming to my bar at the same time. I had no idea.
Good.
And so a guy like me with the ego as big as this room, that happening to me, that's the recipe for disaster. You just poke the bear. Kristen used to say this to me all the time. Don't poke the bear. Always.
This don't poke the bear shit. It's a recipe for disaster. You should know how I am. So I don't have to change my behavior after all these years, even though I'm 87 years old. I don't got to change. You need to know that I am this way. And then you just don't poke me. Again, absolving him of any accountability.
And she was right. You don't poke me. And I lost it.
Well, and obviously ego and insecurity are two sides of the same coin. So
I think those are my biggest, alcohol and drugs, I think for now I quieted them. My saying's over, no, but I quieted them. Now the ego and insecurity is up here now. That's my issue now. I have a huge ego and insecurity problem.
No, the ego and the insecurity are a big reason that drove you to drink in the first place and led you down this path to addiction. You got to get that shit under control. And you got to fix all this toxicity and this behavior and rewire your brain. Oh, Jesus.
What do you do about that? Therapy. It's therapy. That's not a drug. There's nothing I can take for that. There's no pill.
Who's this therapist? You need to be going like 5 days a week stat. You're going to be doing so much more because this is a joke. This is a joke.
Magic pill I can take for that, like bipolar or whatever else. This is something that I'm going to have to work on because it's been ingrained in my head for so long. Mind you, I've been in this industry since I was 20 years old. I'm 45, right? I've been told my whole life that you're good looking, you're this, you go to the best parties, you go to I started modeling. I was in New York, Milan, Paris, Australia, Chicago, runway modeling, being in this fake bubble, right? Where everyone thinks you're pretty and you're perfect and you're good looking. You're put into this capsule, right? For so long where you can do nothing wrong and you're judged basically on your looks. How do you think how insecure I am? you come to a big city like New York in LA, right? Now you're in a melting. I was always the best looking place wherever I went. Now you throw me in a melting pot with
Exactly,
New York and LA. Now
Goofy.
everybody's good looking right here, right? Now everyone's egos are going to get bruised. Now everyone like I have to go on auditions. I never had to audition before. I just get the job. Now I got to go against other people. And then your ego gets, deflated. Why am I not good looking enough? What do I have to do? Do I have to go work hard at the gym? Do I have to not eat? Do I have to do this? So that constantly, for so long, in trying to give myself an image that I had to look the part for, it fucking wore on me. It wore on me. It would wear on anybody. Constantly being told how to look, what to do, and going to fancy dinners and free this and free that. Like, it's not a real life. It's not real. It's a bubble. And I used to come home and I used to.
So leave it. I thought you were going to go to Florida and do social media management for a hockey team. So leave it. LA, you don't got to stay.
My mom and dad, what life you live? Like, what is that? Like, do you work? Do you have a paycheck? How do you live? You're constantly at parties and this and that. Like, my dad would never understand it. I'm like, it's fine, Dad. It's fine. It's fine. That was my life. And then it never really stopped, because even with, Vanderpump and all that, again, it got bigger. Like, I was already doing good. And then you get on this hit show and you just want to ride the wave, man. It's fun. And nobody's telling me no. We're having fun. We're having a good time. I think for the most part, now I look back.
No, because they're too busy telling the women no. We're too busy vilifying the women on these shows that all these toxic men just slide by and they get, these they get these great edits and they get business opportunities, and the women are seen as bitchy and mean. And with Katie, they're always like, Katie rage texts, well, I would argue that all of these men deserve rage texts and need more rage texts, and that would help them, because they self-admittedly, he's saying, no one ever put any boundaries, no one ever told me no one ever went against me, no one ever challenged me. So again, people need to start apologizing to Katie Maloney. The entire show needs to start apologizing to her, because she was telling men like Jax no. She was putting them in their place, and it was just, Katie's a bitch, Katie's ruining our fun, boys will be boys bullshit.
I thought for the most part I was keeping a lot of it under the radar, but clearly I wasn't. When I watched back, I'm like, Jesus, how big are my fucking pupils? Like, I'm sweating. There's no reason to be sweating in this scene. Why am I sweating?
There were some signs.
Yeah, there was some different signs. And like, they did pull me aside a couple times and say, listen,
Alex.
they didn't know, but they were like, they thought I was drinking too much. Like, relax, I'm drinking, relax.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hard thing on behalf of production is what you see.
Well, yeah, but they weren't supplying us. I would go off on my own. Like, we would film a scene, and like, Jax, you have 30 minutes downtime, right? So most people go rest. I would go to a bar, get lit, or go next door from Sir. There was a Mexican restaurant. That's where we all went, because we weren't allowed to drink during scenes.
Tortilla Republic.
They frowned. Tortilla Republic. During the filming days, they all frowned, like, no drinking during this. Like, certain times we go to parties, sure.
Yeah.
But we're doing important scenes. They were like, stay away from that. But we'd all sneak in the back alley, or we would all go to Tortilla Republic. Kristen would have a flask. Stassi would have a flask. We would be in there getting ripped before a scene was going. Nobody knew where we were. There's ways around it, We're not trying to make things better, but before we were filming, we would do this anyway. So now you were basically telling us this, okay, we can't drink as much as you guys have been drinking. You guys need to pipe down. We're like, no, we're used to drinking all day, so we need to find a way to do it. That's how we cope with working at Sir and loving our job, and it's fun. It's like, this is why it's fun. If we can't drink, then this sucks. Makes working at a restaurant boring. At that, especially Sir. So we found ways to do it, and I don't know where I'm going with the story, but
this was also not, the best wait staff of all time.
So we were very skilled.
Yeah.
Honestly, God, I don't
really
think
why anyone was there.
It was the most bizarre staff.
Kristen was good.
Kristen was the.
I wonder if Alex Baskin-Robbins realizes, like, he's incapable of making unredeemable men redeemable. And he's tried it multiple times now, and the public has rejected it each time. We've been like, no, thank you, sir. But he keeps trying to do it. Like, you're not good at it. You can't do it. It doesn't work. But yet you keep doing it. What is that? Why are you still trying? Why are you still trying to make this like fun and likable and make excuses for him? You weren't successful with Tom Sandoval. You weren't successful with Tom Schwartz. You're not successful. You haven't succeeded with Jax. But yet here you are still thinking that you're going to get ahead of us and like they're smarter than us. And before this season, we're all going to be like, okay, guys, we're going into the season now knowing that Jax says he does cocaine. Yeah, we knew. So be nice. But we got to be nice to the man who's not nice. The man who still isn't nice, despite the fact, or kind, or caring about anybody else. But says he's 82 days sober and does everything he could. He's done everything he can. And my favorite Alex G's comment is, poor Jax being so attractive and rich and going to the best parties, being the most attractive in every city, just getting drunk, no one ever telling him no. Ugh, Poor guy. Literally can't imagine. Such a hard life. It backfired. It keeps backfiring because you're not good at this. It doesn't work. We're not stupid. And do you realize, Alex Baskin-Robbins, that you're part of the problem? You and Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog. Huge part of the problem. And a lot of shows have tanked because of this. Oh my God.
Sandoval was a good bartender. So yeah, they were very, very good. But there would be full meltdowns in the restaurant, people are waiting for their steak, and Kristen would be going crying her eyes.
Did you hear? Did you hear Alex Baskin? Well, Sandoval was a good bartender. Bro, get off his dick.
Kristen was good. Kristen was the only good. So Sandoval was a good bartender. So yeah, they were very, very good. But there would be full meltdowns in the restaurant, people are waiting for their steak, and Kristen would be going crying her eyes out because Tom did something, whatever. I'd be like, I'm sorry, are we full drama while people are waiting for their food? And this is before we were filming the show, by the way.
Well, that's whenever I'm asked, is everybody really like that in real life? I'm like, more so.
Yeah. I feel like we toned it down a lot, to be honest.
I agree.
I feel like it was we tone down what? This is how we are.
Yeah.
What do you want us to tone down?
Oh, totally.
No, this is, you want real life? This is the real fucking shit.
Who of your friends are you leaning on right now? Who's been there for you?
I lean on Jason a lot. I try to lean on Tom Schwartz as much as I can. He's got a lot of stuff going on in his life right now.
He gets leaned on a lot.
He does, and he's kind of going through his...
He's got his own addiction issues, allegedly. What? You can't lean on Schwartz? He'll fall over. What are you talking about?
So I don't really open up a lot to him, but I have...
Even his wife couldn't lean on him. What?
Friend, his name is JM, he's sober. I'm kind of gravitating to people that are sober and kind of, if I have an issue, I'll give him a call. I'll be like, hey, for instance, the Super Bowl was my big test. Going to my bar for the Super Bowl. I was like, okay, can I do this? Can I do this? I'm going to be okay. I know I'm not eager to drink, but I've never been around that many drunk people since I've been sober and not being sober. So I showed up to the Super Bowl party, right? People were getting fucked up, eating hot wings, whatever. I'm in the corner eating a salad bowl. I'm the only one at Super Bowl Sunday that's literally completely sober.
It's the least of his worries should be the relationship with his child, bettering himself. He's like, I just want to know that I can go to Super Bowl parties and go to my bar, which is just a tent in the alley that we're still calling his bar. Okay. And I'm around all these fucked up people. Change your surroundings, change your friend group.
I really took a picture of it. This is the new me. But it was okay. I got up a little bit of times, and I would step outside. I didn't really realize how much drinking and drugs played a huge role in my life. I'm still learning because I've been doing it for so long, and drinking and drugs gives me a superpower, if that makes any sense. I can talk to everybody.
You know how I know he's not on a path of wellness? Because he's reminiscing in a loving way. Yeah, we got fucked up. We did this. We did that. That, at least for me, that wasn't the way I thought about it early in my sobriety. I wasn't telling love stories to alcohol. Okay. I wasn't so flippant, so cavalier about something where you started this telling us that you had this big rock bottom and something so bad. But we're just yeah. We're talking about it in such a free-spirited cavalier way.
Socialize easily. I can socialize. I can be the Jax that everybody knows, whether they like me or not. They get this persona of Jax Taylor. And I feel like now I've been off. I'm relearning myself because I feel like I'm very antisocial now. I'm worried that people aren't going to like me as much as they're not going to get the same guy that maybe.
I mean, no offense, but nobody likes you. You're not very nice. You're pretty dickish to people. So I don't. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Okay.
They like
that you won't be able to perform.
I won't be able to perform. I felt like the best way to put it, and I've said this before, I felt like I was the lead singer for so many years. I was the lead singer. It was my band. Now I feel like I'm the bass player, be able to perform. I felt the number one sober guy in the group now. Yeah.
He's the number one guy in the group. Oh my God. He's going to, I'm telling you, he's going to brand this. This is going to be his new brand. He's going to be the mentor sober guy. We already saw his podcast with Brittany going in a way where he was like, I'm going to talk about man stuff. And man, I'm going to talk about, the words I learned like gaslighting and mansplaining. I'm talking about and tell ladies how to look out for guys like me while talking in a loving way about how I mistreated women is almost like my greatest hits. Oh God.
Yeah, well, maybe Kristen's beating me right now because she's really, really sober. I'm worried that people aren't going to like me as much as they're not going to
Yes,
be the same
he's
guy
romanticizing it.
Maybe they like.
Kristen Ray, yep.
I won't be able to perform. I felt like the best way to put it, and I've said this before, I felt like I was the lead singer for so many years. I was the lead singer. It was my band. Now I feel like I'm the bass player or possibly the guy who hits the triangle.
You're the number one sober guy.
I'm the number one sober guy in the group now. Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe Kristen's beating me right now because she's really, really sober. I do.
What does that mean? Isn't that Do you guys catch it? What do you mean she's really, really sober? Sober. What are you? What do you mean she's really, really sober? What is really, really sober compared to what you are? You talking Tylenol? What do you mean really, really sober? She's really, really sober. Do you guys catch that?
The number one sober guy in the group now. Yeah. Yeah, well, maybe Kristen's beating me right now because, well, she can't. She's really, really sober. I do still smoke weed a little bit. I need that to go sleep. I prefer to do that. So.
I don't begrudge anyone for being California sober at all. But this is not the guy that should be California sober. Weed is a privilege. And this early on, you most certainly, you're going to fall down the James Kennedy route. You're most certainly going to abuse it. Oh my God. This is so dumb. Why did they do this interview? Why are they talking like he is at a point of a mentoring, of being anywhere, of having fixed anything? And there it is. And there it is. Oh my God, Jax, you're so predictable.
So I'm what you call California sober. And that's fine. That's fine, buddy.
So this is crazy. I'm not just saying this to be provocative, but do you think Lala can be a help?
I think the situation, which is
honestly, I don't think Lala can help him because Lala is not California sober. Lala's sober. And I think Lala kind of looks down on California sober, if I remember correctly, with James and stuff. And I think Lala knows that Jax is an asshole. And I don't think Jax would ever let Lala think she's helping him.
So this is crazy. I'm not just saying this to be provocative, but do you think Lala can be a help?
I think the situation, which is really funny because I just reached out to Sheena the other day because we haven't spoken in a long time. The girls are all very Team Brittany right now.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Makes sense.
I don't. Yeah. I am going to reach out to Lala when I hit 100 days. And I'm just going to say, listen, I know you don't like me right now. I get it. This has nothing to do with my relationship with Brittany and I. But I'm wondering if I can just talk to you about being sober because I know you're where I was. You were a train wreck too, and you admit it. It would be nice for us to talk about it. That's funny that you said that because I was thinking about that because I think she's got what 4 or 5 years
so around there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a long time. She's really put in the work.
She's put in the work, and it does take a lot of work. Like it's especially the first 100 days. It's not easy. So I am going to reach out to her. I'm kind of like really right now. I don't want to say an apology to her, but I am reaching out to everybody and kind of apologizing the way I treated Brittany, the way I treated everybody.
Don't worry. He's kind of apologizing. Sir, you're 98 years old. Okay. It's not kind of apologize. Either you apologize or you don't. And you are on an apology tour. You're on a publicity tour for the upcoming season of The Valley, season 2, coming soon.
During this, stint, this drug, alcohol craziness that I went on because I was not a nice person. The drugs and alcohol make you such a fucking crazy person.
Are you dreading
But also the way you think. You didn't need the drugs and alcohol to do that. Like that just became how you behaved.
season to come on The Valley because we pick up on you at your lowest moment?
More than you know. It gives me severe anxiety about this will be, I feel like I've said this.
And there it is. He's like, are you dreading this season? He's like, more than you. It gives me severe anxiety because he knows that this car scene, these incidents, the way he behaved this upcoming season and what they're going to show, they're trying to get ahead of it. And what he said his son even saw from his behavior. Why did they ever let Jax back on TV?
Are you dreading the season to come on The Valley because we pick up on you at your lowest moment?
More than you know.
Oh, my phone died. My phone's like, Jolene, I'm tired. You should have charged me. But we were at the end. They had like a couple minutes left, you guys. But he is more than you know. He's worried. He's worried about what's going to happen in this upcoming season. He's got such anxiety, more than he's ever had before. Oh my God. Yes. You guys, see, you're clocking it. We're not stupid. World P is saying behind, but Jax calling it a game is very telling. The way he's talking about his sobriety is very telling. The way he's still blaming Brittany and other people for his actions, very telling. Melissa says, I'm going to jump into the comments and then we'll wrap it up. You guys have been awesome. We have been live for 3 hours covering these 2 interviews, which have been fascinating and frustrating and exhausting. So thank you guys for sticking with me. Melissa says, unpopular opinion, compared to Jax, hopeless plus incapable of change ever. Sandoval even shows some possibility of maybe in the event of a miracle to making true change. Jax is a literal demon. Witnesses, LOL reminds me of musicians back in the 80s and the 90s. I need drugs to be creative. Yep. More excuses, just more excuses to, get high. Let's see. Silly Goose says he's dreading because again, we see his monster side. Yeah, we see it, Jax. Evelyn says, wow, Jax must be really awful in the upcoming season. Mm-hmm. And how many lowest moments? Too many to count. Reality with Krista Marie says she will tell him all the things he has just did and said wrong and tell him to get more help and head out of ass and come back to her. And at Joleen Lunzer, Alex definitely is to blame for him coming back, for Jax coming back. Yes. Twisted Life says it's a sign. Jax can't say anything to make it better. He can't. Jolene's phone says, yeah, Jolene's, my phone said, I've had enough of this problematic bullshit. Okay, I need a nap. Osfly Girl, you're so welcome. Thank you, Joleen. And all learned here and always laugh. Yay. Random, but what is up with his cheekbones? I did notice there's a change in his face, obviously. But Jax's face is always evolving and changing, so I don't even know what is going on. If he's got just a little bit of bloat, I don't know what's happening. I need some California sober, Rebecca says, after these interviews. Seriously. Reality with Krista Marie says, and to think that we thought that sleeping with Kristen was his lowest moment. Then we thought Faith was, and then we thought there's no cap or too low that he won't go, allegedly. Okay. Shine says we need a House of Villains season 2 clip of Jax as a demon. We really do need that clip. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Kristen Marie says Vaughn was tired of his blubbering pink cloud talk. Starlight says, I hate your phone gave up. I can listen to you all night. That's super sweet of you to say. Even my voice is like, give it a break. Jolene. Hippie Chick says he doesn't sound sober right now. No. Mm-mm. And there's so much that goes into sobriety. That's not just the substance, that this man has no idea what he's talking about or what he's doing. So, okay, you've admitted it, but now what are you going to do? And this interview was so telling to me that this is all bullshit and that to me, it comes off as performative and him wanting to fix this upcoming season, damage control, trying to get ahead of it, which they do for the problematic men on Bravo. But unfortunately, the audience isn't dumb. Okay. We see it, and we've seen people like Jax. He's not anything new or special that we haven't seen in toxic men before. So as much as I had hoped that this was going to be something that was like real and genuine, and he was going to speak from the heart on his lowest point, have some humility and be like, it's a process. I'm taking it day by day, not speak as though he knows anything. And like, he's the, mentor or be all and, professor of sobriety. That didn't happen. He spoke like someone who just doesn't get it yet. But you guys are so amazing. Yes, disingenuous and Delulu. Delulu is not always the Salulu. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me live for this No Offense, All Offense, their second one of the day. This is kind of fun. I think tomorrow I'm going to try to do an early morning live again, my time Pacific. So make sure you have your notifications on so you know when I make that live, which will be this afternoon for tomorrow. And you guys are amazing, beautiful pumpkin spice babies. And I appreciate every single one of you. And I appreciate all of your comments. I'm sorry I don't get to highlight all of them while we are live here. So please comment after the video posts, after this live has ended. Please go into the comments. Also, shout out to the replay crew who will be watching this after we're live. Appreciative for you too. If you're not already, follow me on social media at Joleen Lunzer on Instagram, TikTok, and the Twitter, because it'll never be X to me. And like I always say, enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Bye.
If you like what you